Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay! My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wissman.
Whoa, we're psyched.
Fuck yeah, we are.
I'm excited for this. As usual, we're always pumped for this.
This is my favorite thing in the world to do.
I'm telling you, I hope you guys are excited as we are because we get jacked to tell these stories. So we really hope you guys listen to it.
Fucking crazy.
They're all crazy.
This
and
is
this
ridiculous.
Week, no different. We have a crazy ass story this week. Just a wild one of a guy who just can't ever learn. Some of these people just never fucking learn. It's never anything. Before we get into that, I want to thank everyone for their iTunes reviews this week because you guys did an amazing job for us this week on those. Thank you guys so much. They're really the most appreciated thing in the world are those iTunes reviews. They're our life's blood. They're every podcast's life's blood. That's how the charts work and everything else.
We've gotten on the charts and we haven't fallen off in the last 6 or 8 weeks. It's because of you guys, so thanks.
It's pretty cool. Thank you guys so much. We love you guys for it. Just get on there. If you haven't yet, I know it takes 30 seconds. Sign in. Tell us you're following instructions, following directions. It really doesn't matter.
But you're doing God's work.
You're doing somebody's work, goddammit.
I'm saying it's God's because I don't know who the fuck runs iTunes.
If iTunes reviews isn't enough, if you're like, look, I signed in and I gave a review and I don't feel fulfilled.
I'm not whole.
I don't feel like I've done enough. Well, you can do more. You really can. You can get on patreon.com/crimeandsports.
That'll do it.
And you can make a donation there. There's some cool rewards and God can't tell you how much we appreciate it.
Holy shit.
Keeps us alive and going. Yeah. Really does. If you want to make a one-time donation, you can go to PayPal, and you can do that. Our address there is crimeandsports@gmail.com.
There you go.
You can do that. Those things are insanely, insanely helpful.
Yeah.
And special announcement this week. Our website is up. The website is up. It is truecrimecomedyteam.com. You can do that. And we've had so many for, a year now probably. We've been being asked about T-shirts. And we just could never afford to have them made.
We got you.
To be honest with you. You can go on truecrimecomedyteam.com and you can pre-order your Crime and Sports T-shirts today. You'll have them within 30 days.
How about that?
On your body. And
then you can send me a picture, and I will retweet it.
Yes, we'll both retweet it, and the page. We'll all retweet it.
And we will brag about you being amazing and helping us out a ridiculous amount.
So, if you want to do that, you can do that now. Pre-order your shirts. These are the originals. This is the Crime and Sports first generation, and we're going to do we'll get rid of a shirt once we sell it out.
I'm not
we'll
doing
get rid
again.
of it. We'll have new shirts. So it's going to be like that. So this will
be. If we come to your town and do a live show, and you show up in the original one, we'll know you're one of the first people.
We'll know you're the hardcore. That's exactly what we're doing. It's like a kind of a club thing.
Right.
Like, hey, you have take a picture, show us the original. You're like, ooh, you're an original.
And if somehow I can continue doing comedy for 20 fucking years, and somebody shows up in the first generation Crime and Sports shirt, I can go back into the green room and jerk off thinking about how amazing you are. I think that's what you do. Isn't that what you do?
I think that's
protocol. In 20 years, I'll probably take a nap.
You'll take a nap now if you give it a chance. I'd love a nap. That sounds great. Because I haven't slept because I've been dealing with this guy.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Let's get into it. Let's get into James Kirkland.
Okay.
James Derek Kirkland. Right. He's not a junior, thankfully, for him.
And he's not the owner of the product sold at fucking Costco.
No, he's definitely not.
He's not one of those heirs?
He's not the Kirkland man. He has one of the best names we've ever had as far as nicknames go. That's why he's a boxer. I love boxing episodes because, A, they're the craziest because they've had the most blows to the head. So that usually means they're going to be insane.
Yeah, you scramble that egg and it creates some weird shit.
And we'll see. This guy has more fights than I've heard of anyone having in a long time. Between all of this, and they also have to have you have to have a braggy nickname.
Yeah.
You have to. So we get great nicknames.
What's his name?
James Kirkland?
James Kirkland. I can't even guess.
Well, you wouldn't
There's
guess
nothing
this.
in that name.
No, it's not about the name. His nickname is the Mandingo Warrior.
Oh, my God. So racist.
Yes. Yeah.
So he's a black
I feel
guy.
racist saying that. He's definitely black.
Jesus. Yeah. I can barely deal with the N-word, let alone Mandingo.
He calls himself Mandingo Warrior, and everyone just calls him Mandingo like it's his first name.
I can't do it.
Like his trainer later is like, I was talking to Mandingo a little while ago. I'm like, what the hell? It's so strange. It's so strange.
What a terrible word.
It's odd. So it was born. Date of birth here, March 19th, 1984.
Yeah.
So he's a younger guy in terms of what we usually do here. He in boxing, he's like he makes most of his time as a light middleweight at 154, which is he's 5'9", 154, and these are the fun guys to watch fight.
That size.
These are the fun guys to watch fight. This is my favorite weight class of all of boxing. I'm a boxing fan. Well, this is great because heavyweights, you have the knockout factor, which is what makes it exciting. At any point, this could end because one shot you could knock that guy out. And if you have guys that are like 110 pounds, their fights are amazing to watch because they're just beating the shit out of each other. But nobody ever goes down because it's like a pillow fight. Yeah, no one is strong enough to knock each other down. 154, they have the speed of the small guys
and
yet
a punch.
Enough pop to knock the shit out of each other and watch them go down. So I got to watch some really fun fights. It's so weird, too, because, like, I'm not one for, like, if you say, like, hey, check this World Star video out. I don't like watching. I'm uncomfortable watching people in the streets fight. Yeah. I'm uncomfortable with people who... I'm uncomfortable if someone didn't volunteer to get their ass kicked, kicked. I don't like that. It makes me feel weird, and I want to turn it off.
There's no monetary gain in that either. No. You know what I mean?
Boxing is so... It's like this guy, he trained, he signed a contract, they advertised him, he did interviews talking shit about the guy, and inciting him to punch him in the face harder.
There was pictures taken
like, I can get into that.
There was pictures of them taken in poses of, I'm going to kick the shit out of you.
Yeah,
right?
That
didn't happen in the street.
Voluntary. No, very voluntary.
And that punch that happens in the street when the person like gets knocked out, when their arms like go out.
Yeah, not great.
I mean? That shit is, it makes you so uncomfortable.
I just don't like watching any of that. No. But boxing knockouts are different.
Yeah.
And this guy's fights are so exciting.
Yeah.
It's no let up.
Really?
He gets in the ring and he swings at you until you go down.
Really?
And you can hit him, and that's not going to stop him from coming in at you, though. I mean, he'll walk right into jabs.
He'll
take two to deliver one.
Really?
But not one. He'll throw 8 punches and maybe hit you with one and take a couple on the... but he's fine with that. He has no problem with that. He's all aggression. He's all aggression, rage. He's early Mike Tyson on coke.
He's a terrifying
That would be the
man.
best way to describe his in-ring style.
He's a weapon.
He's a weapon. He's dangerous. He's a southpaw, too.
Really?
So he's left-handed, which is and he's not just a southpaw fighter; he's actually left-handed.
Really?
So that is also that's makes you a hard guy to fight.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen a Rocky movie, no one wanted to fight Rocky because he was a lefty, and it messes up your rhythm. It messes everything up. And southpaw. Well, I think Rocky might be a touch more popular,
and a touch better, touch more influential than Ryan bit. Or Jake Gyllenhaal.
A little bit, just a drop.
A little more believable too that he took a bunch of punches the way he talks, rather than Jake Gyllenhaal coming out of there and giving.
I'll buy that.
Just beautifully flawless interviews about the boxing movie.
For Stallone, it must have been nice that he didn't have to like put that on at all. They're just like, no, just talk normal. It's like, really? All right.
I have been.
I'll talk normal. You know, this is I don't want to sound too smart. You know, I sound like a boxer. They're like, no, really, Sly. Don't worry. You're not going to sound too smart, really. Don't worry.
Hilarious.
He grows up excessively poor, James Kirkland. This is the poorest we've had.
Really?
We've had guys, Willie Mays Aikens, Tommy Morrison.
We had a sharecropper.
We had a sharecropper who shit outside.
Yeah.
We had an outdoor shitting sharecropper. We have had a trailer park prostitute mother. We've had dirt floor with no bathroom.
We've
or
had sugarcane guy that didn't.
We've had
didn't even go to school.
Guy. We've had all of this shit. This guy's the poorest of them all, which is hard to imagine. He has the worst. Where he's found is amazing, and we'll get into this. He's the second of two brothers. He's a middle child, or three brothers. He's a middle child. He grew up no father. Obviously, and extremely poor. Well, in his upbringing, it wasn't a two-parent household really trying hard, and he had the worst upbringing ever. Right? That's not possible. You know what I mean? It's not possible.
I just like the way that came out.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. It's shit upbringing and terrible and the worst ever. You assume there's not a two-parent household. Yeah. Let's just assume
no dad, or at least no mom.
So one parent, not two. Relied on food stamps to survive, had no food. He grew up in East Austin, Texas.
Yeesh.
And apparently East Austin is terrible. I don't know how it is now, but it's been awful.
Yeah, we do.
The whole
We've been
time.
There.
That's true. We didn't cruise East Austin, though, really.
No.
We just stayed around where South by Southwest was.
Got the fuck out.
Yeah, literally, really
did. Yeah. We drove all night.
We did.
Got the fuck out.
Got the fuck out.
So anyway, we went from West Austin to downtown and then back the fucking west.
We didn't care about East. We didn't bother. And it's probably good we didn't.
Yeah.
based on what I'm hearing here.
Okay.
Now we have an in their own words. Let's do an early in their own words here on childhood poverty and his upbringing and everything else. In their own words, quote, "We grew up among people that didn't have much. We always had to go next door and borrow some of this or get that. People had food stamps. That was the kind of lifestyle we had. There were lots of drug dealers, and I was always fighting."
Oh boy.
So that's Jesus
That sounds
Christ.
horrible.
He is found at 6 years old. He meets a gentleman named Donald Pops Billingsley.
Sounds like our first silver-haired middle-aged white man.
He is a silver-haired middle-aged black man.
Oh, okay.
His hair is bright white, too.
Yeah,
and
really?
I'm not saying that because he's silver in terms of his actions. His hair is physically bright white.
I love a black guy with white hair. That's my favorite.
He's an old black guy.
Yeah.
Pops, everybody calls him. Pops Billingsley. Pops is a local boxing instructor. He has fought. He's trained other fighters. He's been doing this for years. 35 years of boxing, basically, and it's mostly youth. So he looks for kids that are fucked up that he can help. Basically, he's a nice guy. He's one of these guys, just like last week where we had with Javaris Crittenton, the PJ, who tried to help. He's the PJ of this story. It's the same type of thing.
Wasn't it JP?
No, it's PJ.
Was it PJ?
Pretty
penis
sure
javelin.
PJ.
That's
penis
right.
javelin. It's PJ.
I was going javelin penis.
Javelin penis. I like penis javelin better. So he also, Billingsley's other famous fighter that he has is a 4-weight division 8-time women's champion.
Four divisions.
Four different weight divisions, 8-time women's champion named Ann Wolfe.
Wow.
Ann Wolfe is a bad bitch, and I say that in the most respectful way. Not bitch like fuck that bitch. I mean,
She's
like that's a bad bitch right there. She's a badass.
She's a bad bitch
tough.
That I wouldn't tell she was a bad bitch.
Fuck no. Or I'd be like, you're a badass lady. Yeah,
you are
fucking
mean.
keep it going.
I'll walk away from you.
She's awesome, this lady. She has the coolest arc in this whole story.
Okay.
Her story is amazing. Her life and her upbringing was a mess, but we'll talk about this for 1 second. Pops takes James in. When he finds him, James is 6 years old and is found by Pops in a homeless shelter.
By himself?
Hanging out at the homeless shelter.
Holy shit.
So this is the worst we've had. That's why I said this is the worst.
Yeah.
Like a prostitute in a trailer park, at least they had a trailer.
At least he had a home.
At least, the sharecropping, at least they had a shack to sharecrop out of. This kid is in a homeless shelter at 6.
Wow.
So, I mean, that
It's
tells
already
you
in the
right there.
system.
That's a different level of poor.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about has a home poor. We're talking about a 6-year-old kid on the street poor.
Yeah.
So Pops finds him.
Not just food stamps, but soup kitchen. You know
Soup
what I mean?
kitchen,
That's terrible.
It's insane. It's awful. So Pops takes James under his wing.
Yeah.
He takes him into the gym. He shows him how to box. He does. He takes him. He treats him like a son, like he treats all the kids,
and gives him something to do to stay off the fucking street.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's the kid's 6 years old in a homeless shelter. He's going to be out running amok anytime.
At least
it's going to happen.
At least you teach him to box and teach him to defend himself. That way, if he does walk away from this, at least the kid can fight his way out.
Well, plus boxing is one of those things that is all encompassing. So it's like if you get the kid into boxing, he's going to be there 10 hours a day for the next 15 years, and so that'll keep him out of trouble, that sort of thing. And that's what he liked to do too. He tried to keep these kids out of trouble. He only had one requirement, and this was with everyone that trained in his gym, Pops, that they accompany him to church on Sunday.
Well, that's nice.
So they all have to go to church with him on Sunday, which for these kids, maybe not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
They need some sort of something just to say, hey, look, people dress in nice clothes and go out as a family.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
And then you hear a
nice
good message,
exist.
and if you have
better.
any spare money, you throw it in a bin. Obviously, kid, you don't have any. Just come hear a nice message with me.
Yeah, and maybe they throw a can or two at these kids, too. I don't know what they do to help them out. And if they
drop
have
them some green beans.
Clothes bin or something like that. Now, Ann Wolfe's story, her early life, horrible. Mother died when she was 6.
Yeah.
Her mother died when she was 8. She was unable to read or write at that point. She had no skills. She dropped out. She was molested as a preteen.
What?
Her father was killed. Her father was killed in the street. Her brother was killed in an attempted robbery. Her other brothers got serving a life sentence in prison for murder. Just terrible. I mean,
so hold on. His trainers.
This is his trainer, Ann Wolfe.
Both her parents are dead. All of her siblings are in jail or dead.
Yes,
and she somehow gets out of that and becomes a fucking champion.
Well, let's find out how that happened. Around 1990, she was just a mess. She was out. She was selling drugs and things like that. She is arrested on a drug charge, serves 18 months in jail back then, so she does have some crime.
Yeah.
She had 2 young daughters at this point, too.
Jesus.
She's got 2 young daughters. She's trying to, make something out of this, make ends meet. She spent a year working night construction jobs during the day and then being homeless at night. Wow. Yes. She said her and her daughters lived under a boat in an abandoned parking lot.
Oh, my God.
How horrible
under a
is
boat.
It? Under the boat.
I got nothing.
Christ.
I got nothing.
Think about her life before that.
Yeah.
She never had a chance, this poor woman. I mean, and she doesn't give a shit. She makes it.
Her whole family's gone. She's got 2 kids. She goes and works construction all day, then goes home to live under a boat.
Under a boat.
How much worse can it get?
With her 2 kids.
Unbelievable.
Telling them, yeah, we'll get out of here soon.
Yeah.
Because, you want to reassure your kids. It's horrible.
Yeah.
One day, she sees a female boxing match on TV. And she found out that they get paid for it.
Yeah. She's like, I'm pissed. I can do that.
Yeah, she's a tough lady.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll whoop somebody's ass right now if you give me some money for it. And this is a woman, too. I don't care if she's got skills or not.
Right.
She could beat your ass based on, I'm going to eat dinner tonight and you're not. Like, I'm going to feed my fucking kids and get a motel for the night so I have to sleep under the boat. This is boat punching right here.
Survival instinct at that point.
I'm telling you, man. So she makes her way to the gym in Austin and she finds Pops Billingsley, who takes her in and trains her a little bit. And she's a brawler, ass kicker type of fighter. She's not one of these who's, make sure your balance is on the thing with it. She was get in there and punch the shit out of somebody till they fall. And in female boxing, now it's different because a lot of them are more aggressive, but female boxing back then, if you were aggressive like that, there wasn't a lot of female boxers that were that aggressive.
There's no
like
Layla Ali at that point.
Back then there was Christy Martin in the mid-90s. Remember she's from like West Virginia or something.
I don't know.
She goes by the coal miner's daughter.
Oh, okay. That rings a bell.
She looked like somebody who, you'd see at the flea market in a small town somewhere.
Did she fight with braids?
I don't think she fought with braids, but she threw some hard. She's a little white girl, and she threw some haymakers and would knock the shit out of these girls in the early 90s. I think she fought on the Tyson Holyfield undercard.
See, that's where I was
when Tyson bit his ear off.
I remember.
I'm pretty sure about that.
I feel like I don't know why I recollect braids though.
I don't know. She might have had. Who the fuck knows? I just picture
is
her
a big
dark.
word
I
for
thought
me
she had like an 80s perm, like that 80s woman perm type thing going on, but I'm not sure. Wolf ends up being 24-1 in her boxing career.
My God.
8 world titles in 4 different weight classes, like we said. So she's a person, she comes from shit. And she made something of herself. And wait till you hear what she makes of herself by the end of this fucking story, because it's awesome. I've never been so happy for somebody.
25 fights and 8 of them were title fights. That's amazing. Yeah, that's incredible.
And probably more than that are title fights.
Yeah. 8 of them were title fights that she won.
Yeah,
what a hero.
I mean. That's so.
Whoever her kids are, they're successful today. They've got to be.
They have to be with this based on her.
To see the drive that she had, that's incredible. And that's feminism, goddammit.
She doesn't let people fail either, too. Wait till you see her
that,
what her training is like.
Goddammit, is feminism. That's what it is.
That's just peopleism.
Yeah,
that's just not even. It's nothing to do with
fighting
anything.
for yours. That's just going out and fucking getting yours. That's
She's
amazing.
Fighting for her life. She's living under a boat.
True. Yeah.
Wolf begins.
What happens when somebody wants to use their boat though? And then what?
They got to move to another boat. I think at that point they're like, shit. Now anything else dry docked around here I can get my hands on? Maybe an old like a El Camino I can get into. What is this? It's scary, I would think. Hopefully it was an abandoned, shitty old boat.
I mean, at minimum, it's abandoned because what happens on Sunday in the summer when the family wants to use it?
I say you just go. Let's just let them stay there. It's like a mother and her 2 kids under it. I don't
Fuck it. We're staying home this day.
Excuse me. Can you and your raggedy kids please get out of my boat? Me and my family would like to enjoy an afternoon of leisure.
We're going fishing. Would you please leave?
Please leave. I need to fill the ice bin with champagne. Every minute is time wasted. It needs to be cold when we hit the water. Thank you.
That's too bad.
Take your urchin children and go the fuck away.
That's a brutal life.
It's a brutal life.
It really is.
So Anne Wolf meets James when he's 9 years old and begins training him in her method of training, which is unlike anyone else on earth.
And at this point, he's 3 years into boxing.
He's 3 years in, just starting to get into it. He's paid $5 a round to spar.
Wow.
So she says, I'm going to pay you to spar.
That's great.
With the other kids. So that's great. So for him, at 9 years old, this is a dream come true.
At this point, at 9 years old, he's making more than most people get to do comedy.
And it's true. It's true. Yeah, there's not a lot of people
that are getting $5 a set.
97% of people aren't getting $5 a set, and 50% of them pay $5 to do their set. That's the fucking truth. Maybe 10.
That is awesome.
That's the truth. So
this kid's killing the comedy game at this point.
He's above open micers right now. Right now.
At 9.
At 9.
Unbelievable.
Good for you, buddy.
Yeah, way to
stay
go,
out of
Mr.
comedy.
Kirkland.
Get punched in the head. It's better than comedy. comedy for you.
It's safer.
Much safer. God, you'll end up with less drugs in your system, too.
At least you can buy a sandwich.
That's true. Yeah, $5. Yeah, at least you don't have to pay for the privilege. Now, Wolf is known for her extreme training measures, and we'll get into some of these later. They're like nothing, like nobody else. Like when they ask later on, Freddie Roach is a famous boxing trainer. He's Manny Pacquiao's trainer. He trained everybody.
He matters.
He matters. They talk to Freddie Roach about her, and they're like, and he just goes, "Oh man," he's like, hey, and that's if that's the style that works. And they were like, and they ask him, they're like, would you subscribe to her training methods, or is it kind of every trainer, whatever? He goes, it's kind of to each his own. He goes, that's not really my style, but if someone can do it, then great, good for them.
What's her style? Does she force him to sleep under a boat?
It's worse. I'd rather sleep under a boat. She would make them spar two people at the same time.
What the fuck?
By the way, sparring isn't sparring with her. Sparring isn't light punching. Sparring is fighting.
It's a real match.
And she doesn't call it sparring. She calls it fighting. She goes, get in here and fight. And it's a fight.
Do they have headgear at least?
Yeah. They're not trying to have them brain.
But they're throwing real punches.
They're knocking the shit out of each other unnecessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the one thing, and you're causing... This is also before we knew anything about CTE and that sort of thing.
Also, headgear doesn't protect your chest and your guts.
No, or your fucking face for that matter. Your face is sticking out.
Exposed.
And you're still getting hit hard in the head, and it's snapping your neck, which is what makes your brain go anyway. So
and there's that little hole right there that if you get punched there, it boxes your ear.
Absolutely. So she'd make them fight two people at the same time.
That's crazy.
She'd have her middleweights spar heavyweights. And then have them hit them hard, so they, it's the same principle as you pick up two bats in the on-deck circle in baseball, then you drop the one seems light.
Right.
I think it's the same thing. I've been getting hit by a heavyweight for 3 months. When I step in the ring with a middleweight, that's not going to be shit.
It's not going to hurt.
It's going to be easy.
This is like Gladiator, though.
That's what she does. Yeah. And she does just insane shit with tires on it. She has like a broomstick with tires on it, and you have to balance it. It's insane, the shit she makes.
Unleashes a tiger into the ring.
Exactly. It unleashes a tiger. You have to box it away. She's a jabs only, and you have to jab it off. It's very complicated. Jabs only. You're like, shit.
He's got fucking teeth. What are you talking about?
Left hand. That's it. Sorry. Also, to make them run for miles and miles and miles in the 105-degree humid Texas heat.
With a tiger chasing them.
With a tiger chasing them.
That hasn't been fed in 3 weeks.
Jabs only. Jabs only. She looks for the weaknesses in her fighters, she says, and then tries to train it out of them. That's her thing. She says it's not about just doing a little bit extra to get ready. It's about doing all that is necessary to guarantee victory.
Yeah.
She says later on that I don't want to be 99% sure that I'm going to win when I train. I train for that 1%. That to make sure that I have that, so I'm positive I'm going to fucking win. Yeah, and it works for her, and it works for young James as well.
All right.
James fights a shitload of amateur fights because he gets into it right away. There's something called the Silver Gloves, which we'll talk about in a second here, and that is for kids ages 10 to 15. So we know about the Golden Gloves, which is a national boxing tournament. They have state tournaments, and they have a national tournament for it. It's whatever. This is silver. That's 16 and up. And this is 10 to 15 for the Silver Gloves. So he got into this right away. Like, she started training him at 9. He started fighting at 10. Yeah. Right in these tournaments. Overall, on
his birthday. He did.
You know he did. Yeah. Overall, now, we'll talk about his amateur record a little bit, but overall, he has an amateur record of... give me a guess of what his amateur record. Just
if the hint is that there's a lot, I'm getting 85 fights.
134 and 12.
Between 10 and 15 years old?
That's between 10 and 17. 134 and 12 is his record, so 146 fights. That is in addition to countless hours of sparring where you're getting punched with live rounds. You're getting hit with live rounds.
There's only 2,000 days in those 7 years.
Think about that, man.
And she's fought 146 of those
in between
days.
all the training, which is
Holy
amazing.
Shit.
This includes winning 4 Silver Gloves titles.
Yeah.
4, which is outstanding. You're only allowed to be in it for 5 years. And he fought and won 4 of them.
Holy shit.
Which is wild. And they're also sponsored by Ringside, which is the big boxing. You'll see the yellow logo with Ringside on it.
It's 6 years. If you get 10,
6 years. It's 6 years. Yeah.
He got 80% of it. He won.
It's amazing, man.
Wow.
It's incredible. Now, back to Ann Wolf here.
Yeah.
She trained him also mentally. She would train him. She would try to beat them down mentally. It was very much like she had a really interesting. I feel like she's like, look, I've survived everything. I'm going to make you as tough as me.
Yeah.
Because her always thing is, I want to make everybody as tough as I am. And so I feel like she wants to make these people feel what it's like.
Yeah.
And it works, though. It really does.
And I mean, really, to get that tough emotionally and physically, you have to go through the emotional part, too. But he went through it. It's up to his first 6 years of his life were fucked.
Yeah.
And those 3 years that he trained for with what was the guy's name again?
Pops.
Pops, yeah.
Pops.
The 3 years that he sparred with him and trained with him, that probably was still no picnic.
No, God, no, not at all.
So he's probably
it's an old rundown gym. The equipment's
of course,
old. I mean, it's one of those things where the gloves aren't as padded as they should be.
It's boxing bad news bears. That's what it is.
Headgear's old. It's The Wire. Once again, back to The Wire. It's when Dennis Wise opens up the boxing gym in The Wire, and he's like, I got this ratty ass equipment, and the kids are all making fun of him for it. They're like, yeah, you got fucked up ass gloves, and like all that shit. Yeah, that's what this is. Dennis Wise has brought them in here.
Every week I get a tweet about how great it is that you watched that.
It's fucking great. It's the best show. You just get on your shit and watch it.
I'm an asshole. I need to watch that.
The Wire, Always Sunny, Deadwood.
And
those three you'll
and
get.
I've got
most of my
Deadwood,
references.
and I've got 2 episodes in. I'm gonna finish it.
You get there. You'll get there.
Give
it's
me
a lot
time.
you have to build. It's a lot of build. It's a lot of build. And then it comes fast and furious.
I can't wait to hear it. All right.
So anyway, she's training him, like I said, mentally, physically, the whole deal in this ratty Dennis Wise Wire gym.
Okay.
And so
I believe you. I bet that's an amazing reference.
They let Naaman go. Because he wasn't doing anything.
I've seen a couple episodes, but I didn't. Obviously, I don't get it all. But the episodes I saw were great.
Spider's not showing up for his fights. He's out on the corner slinging again, and Dennis has to go get him. Yo, Spider, why aren't you at the gym, man? Sorry. It's a fucking great show. Anyway, moving on.
Okay.
She made him into he's an aggressive animal. When you're that aggressive at 14, you're going to beat the shit out of other kids who
forever
might not be as angry and might not come from a homeless shelter and be trained by a woman who lives under a boat.
Right.
So I don't think anyone else has that.
Yeah, that's the thing, too, that it's like...
Yeah, these people are tough.
Yeah, the shit that he's been through, and he's trained by somebody that's been through way worse.
Yeah, someone even tougher than that. Unbelievable. I mean, they always say, too, it might not have been technically beautiful, like the way he fought. He didn't come in, like I said, he wasn't one of these guys where you're like, God, his form is beautiful.
Right.
And it's, like Lennox Lewis, you watch, and you're like, God, he's got beautiful form. He's got beautiful footwork.
It's amazing.
His jabs are...
And he's so big to be able to do all that.
This is step in, swing until you knock this guy's fucking head off as hard as you can. They call her training cruel. But I
mean,
it's also what he needed, and that's what he says too. He says there's a lot of trainers that train you up to that point.
Yeah.
He said it. They train you up to that point, but they're afraid to push you over that edge.
Yeah.
He goes, Ann is not afraid to push you over that edge, and that's what I need when I train. He goes, otherwise it's just not going to work for me, which is interesting.
He's like every villain in every bad movie where they're like, this is so and so. He's a terrible person, and he came from all this awful shit.
Or every superhero, either one.
Right. Yeah.
He's either the superhero or the villain. Either one.
That's exactly right.
That's
true.
Amazing. He might be
Batman's
the superhero.
Parents are dead.
There you go. She might be Batman.
Yeah, she might
Ann
be.
Wolfe is Batman, guys.
Yeah.
This bitch is Batman. Yeah. Actually, she's not
minus
Batman.
The millions.
But she's in another. She does have a connection to a superhero that
really?
we'll get into later.
Right.
Yeah, this woman has a great life.
She's
man. I'm
Batman
so proud
with
of her.
her bat cave is under a fucking boat.
Yeah, it's under a boat.
Her bat cave is under the bat boat.
Come on, everybody. They're like, a vacant lot is your bat cave? No, under that boat. It's like, what? Okay. Basically, her strategy with him was it didn't matter if his balance was off or his hands were a little too low if he could just pound you for 12 rounds.
Yeah.
Because they had the stamina where he wasn't going to blow up. He wasn't going to run out of energy in the 4th round. Yeah. He was just going to beat you until you went down. So that was the deal.
He wasn't going to run out of stamina and energy because he had no food to have any.
She said, what did it matter? That's the thing.
That's why it had to be over in one round because he has no energy. He hasn't eaten in 3 days.
That'll make you a tough fighter. That's what it is. She said, what did it matter that his defense was flawed when no one could find a way to get past that firestorm that was his offense?
Yeah. So
that makes a lot of sense. 2001, he fights in Reno, Nevada at the Golden Gloves tournament. Mm-hmm. This is the big one here. It's the Nationals. Okay. So this is the big, everyone in the country, the best fighters. He's at 147 pounds now. He'll fight at 154 later, but he's a kid right now. He's 17 years old. In the first round, he defeats a guy named William Johnson. He goes to the second round where he defeats a guy named Steve Ham. Quarterfinals, he defeats Shimon Alvarez. Semifinals, he beats Jose Moreno. And finally, in the finals of this Gold Glove tournament.
Yeah.
He has a really tough fight with a guy named James Parison, who it's a close fight. It was one of those where when they went to the decision, it was a decision, and everybody went, either way.
Wow.
It's one of those, like, either way, and they gave it to Parison. But nobody said Kirkland did anything to lose. It was just...
Was it unanimous?
A little more points. I do not know that.
Okay.
It says a narrow decision is all I could get out of it.
I'll bet it's split.
To look up 2001 Golden Gloves results, I'm lucky to get
impressive.
what I got. Yeah, patreon.com/crime sports.
I love it.
So on a personal level,
Yeah.
at age 17, he's in a city park and he meets a girl.
Yeah.
He meets a girl. She is not from the hood.
She's not from the shit.
She's not a hood girl. They call it from the other side of the highway, basically.
Yeah.
She's a other side of the tracks kind of girl. It's a woman named Vanessa Wells.
Yeah. She sounds like she's had a bath.
She does. Yeah, she's nice and clean. She eventually will have 2 children for James down the road here. She says, quote, "When I met him, he didn't have nothing. He wore the same white T-shirt, same clothes every day. I didn't grow up in the hood. I guess he was different from where I lived." I was like, "Ooh, different."
Yeah.
So she was
Stank
like, "Ooh,
dick.
yeah, I like that." Yeah. Ooh, it's just that typical like a 50s movie.
Yeah.
Like the guy pulls up on a motorcycle and a leather
cigarettes
jacket.
rolled
Like,
up in his
yeah,
sleeve. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at Schneider from One Day at a Time with cigarettes rolled up in his sleeve.
This James Dean character is pretty handsome.
Yeah, absolutely. So she sees him. She was kind of interested. She said she found him too prideful at first.
Yeah.
Because he was just, he's a street guy. He's boasty. He's got to be. She turned him down at first, but later on, I guess somehow through a friend, he arranged a blind date with her.
What?
And
blind date for her, not for him.
Well,
he knew what was happening.
He knew it was coming, and eventually he coaxed her phone number out of her and started trying to get at her, and eventually they became boyfriend-girlfriend and started a little life together. He had a chance to try out for the Olympic trials. But he chose to go pro. Actually, that was at the at the behest of Pops.
Really?
Pops told him, "Look, why don't you go pro?" And Pops he said he thought it would keep him out of trouble.
Yeah.
If he was fighting for money and he needed to train for a fight and to make money, he thought he would really
also
be
too.
more focused.
Let's say on the off chance he wins a medal in an Olympic thing somewhere, you got to pay taxes on that. And if you're broke, you can't pay taxes on medals.
I mean, it's great for his career because if you come out as an Olympic gold medalist, you don't have to fight 10 tomato cans at first. You start fighting good fighters right away. It's that sort of thing. But still,
But you go pro, you make $600-700 every match.
You make some money, and I think he was just like, look, that's going to keep you in more constant training, constant fighting, keep going. So he does turn pro. On August 25th, 2001, he has his pro debut at Sunset Station in San Antonio, Texas. Oh, boy. He fights Maurice Chambers, who is a non-linker, of course. If you don't know our boxing episodes and UFC also, MMA episodes, they'll have their whole record on Wikipedia, and sometimes they'll have links to the guys, like you can click on their name, and sometimes they're just black names, nobodies. I, of course, am not going to stand for that. I go to alternate forums and I found out who the fuck these people are, how good of fighters they were. Got some records. He fights Maurice Chambers, a career 14-13-1 fighter total. That's his career. It's not great.
That's 500 with a tie. I mean, that's not great.
Nickname is Mo Bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, you mean Mo? I mean,
Mo,
that's so clever.
Mo Bad with 2 D's. This ends in a first-round TKO at 1 minute and 49 seconds. I'm sorry, a third-round TKO in 1 minute 49 seconds of the third round. This James wins, so he's 1-0. Gets right back on it a couple months later in October 2001. He's fighting at the Frank Irwin Center in Austin, so hometown. He fights Juan Jamie Rodriguez, another non-linker.
Jaime Rodriguez.
Whatever. Yeah, it is Juan Jaime. What am I talking about?
Of course.
Yeah, he's a Rodriguez.
Right.
This guy is a non-linker, but I had to track him down, and this guy was not easy to track down. He is an 0-2 career.
So I wonder what happened in this fight.
This is it. This was a first-round knockout, 46 seconds in.
Holy
so I think
shit.
he maybe said, maybe I'll hang it up now.
That's it.
I think I'm done.
I'll go home.
This was his second fight and Kirkland's second fight. Kirkland's 2-0. He's 0-2. This guy got knocked out in 46 seconds. He says, I think I'm going home now.
I think I quit.
I'm going back to wherever people pronounce that Jaime. I'm going to go back there.
Going back to El Paso or the other side of the freeway.
Either one. Yeah. July 13th, 2002, he has his 4th fight at the Aladdin Casino. Ooh, look at at that. He's in Vegas now.
He's in Vegas.
At the Aladdin. The Aladdin was called the Aladdin from 1966 to 2007, and it's now Planet Hollywood. Oh. In case you were wondering, because they don't have the Aladdin
I was wondering
anymore.
about that. Just now in my head, I'm like, that's a nice place. Wait a minute. I don't know where the fuck that is.
Where is that now?
That makes sense.
It's Planet Hollywood now.
Okay.
He fights Jose Luis Rodriguez, this time with an S. Last Rodriguez was with a Z. He wants to kick everyone's ass named Rodriguez, no matter what the spelling. He's going to fuck you up.
I'm going down the list. Did somebody named Rodriguez hurt him at one point?
I think so. Yeah, he got diddled by a Rodriguez. Another non-linker, of course. 9-10 career record.
All right.
And his nickname? Snoopy.
Oh, God.
That sounds tough.
That's as gangster as it gets,
that's the thing.
Shit.
It's very hood, but in the boxing world, it doesn't sound tough.
No.
On the street, if there's somebody named Snoopy after you, you better fucking hide. But in the boxing, you're like, man, fuck Snoopy. I'm the Mandingo Warrior. Mandingo Warrior trumps Snoopy.
Hilarious.
Sorry, he'll whoop Snoopy's ass. He beat Snoopy's ass. Minute 35 into round 1 of 4. These are only 4-round fights, too. They're the low-level fights. TKO it is, so he just knocks the shit out of him. Next 2 fights, he fights both in D.C. He fights in D.C., Washington, D.C., and in San Antonio. They're both wins. 3rd round TKO, 4th round unanimous decision, both against non-linkers.
He's doing it, though.
He's doing it. He's learning from the professional fight here. January 31st, 2003, he has his first 6-round fight. This is scheduled for 6 rounds instead of 4. They've all been 4. This is at Randy's Ballroom in San Antonio. That sounds glamorous,
doesn't it? It's a little step down from the Aladdin.
That's what you dream about as a kid. It's accurate. More accurately, I looked this up, but I think I'm going to let this shit slide. Randy's fucking Ballroom. It's actually Randy's Bingo and Ballroom. That's what it's called. It's a fucking bingo hall.
It's a shit.
It's old ladies are playing bingo.
You're fighting in front of 90-year-old women?
Well, maybe not that night. Clear off the bingo tables tonight, boys. Get that big wheel and put it away, because we're letting 2 guys beat the shit out of each other. He fights Juan Carlos Arande of Mexico, another non-linker. His career record, 8-49.
Holy shit.
I think it's time to stop.
I think I could fight him.
I think I could beat his ass. 8-49.
That's crazy.
Who the fuck did he beat?
And they aren't saying a word.
Snoopy?
None of them are talking about it.
The guy who was 0-2? Who did he beat?
Maybe his wife 8 times.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. Who was he fighting? Not Ann Wolfe. She'd have kicked his ass. This is a TKO in 35 seconds into round 3 of 6. This brings James up to 7-0.
Yeah.
7-0, not bad. May 23rd, 2003 is his 9th fight. This is at the Lucky Star Casino in Conco, Oklahoma, which again, the
not
dream.
A great play.
People overseas, like the Neil Diamond song, They're Coming to America. This is what they're dreaming about right here. Like, I'm going to go to Oklahoma to the Lucky Star Casino. They're coming to America. That's what they're dreaming about. To Conco. It's perfect. He fights Sergio Soto of Mexico, another non-linker. His nickname is Americano for some reason. He's from Mexico. His name's Sergio Soto. I don't know what the fuck Americano came from. Maybe he spoke English and they were like, Americano. He's like, yeah, great. That's a good nickname. Fine. Whatever. Slap it on the back of my robe and I'll walk to the ring.
Americano means just American, correct?
Yeah.
You're not fucking,
He's not American.
You're not American.
He is from Mexico. This man was born in Mexico and
what an
lives
asshole.
there also. I don't know.
Reverse nickname.
16-19 career record. He the Americano was knocked out in the 3rd round, 54 seconds into the 3rd round, bringing James to 9-0.
All right.
This is when his power starts really showing up.
Okay.
I don't know if the first few fights, if he was tight, maybe if he was just trying to find his footing, if he the professional ranks. I don't know if it was a mental thing or what, but he didn't unleash his power. A lot of these are 3rd round stoppages where it seems like it takes him 2 rounds to let loose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or to figure out their style.
It doesn't. He doesn't figure shit out ever.
Really?
He doesn't care.
Maybe he's just getting comfortable in the ring.
Yeah, and he even says later on, they ask him, what do you know about this fight you're fighting? He goes, I don't know shit. I know I'm going to beat his ass. I know I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try to punch the shit out of him, and and he'll fall down. That's it. He doesn't care what your style is because he's going to come at you just swinging away.
What do you know about this fighter? Who is it?
Yeah, he doesn't care. They ask him later. So this one, like I said, a quick win here, 3 rounds, 9-0. Big power coming up here. Like August 22nd, 2003, when he has his 10th fight. This is at the Silver Star Hotel and Casino in Choctaw, Mississippi.
All right.
Again, this is where all the America's. If you're from another country, this is where all America's sporting events go down.
It sounds like
NBA Finals, the Super Bowl, the World Series,
Mississippi.
It's
Oklahoma.
all in Choctaw, Mississippi, and Conco, Oklahoma.
It's all in the Bible Belt. This is really fascinating to me that they have this many fights in the South. Like, we've covered quite a few boxers.
Casinos,
I didn't realize that they fought so much in the South.
Yeah, casinos. Casinos are a huge, they need a draw.
Yeah.
So they'll take anything. They'll take a washed-up comedian.
They will. They really will. Have you driven to L.A.? Watch
man.
All those shits in, like, what is that?
Rob Schneider's coming. Great. Can't wait for that.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. This is going to be great. Whew.
They're running through the Bible Belt casino-wise.
All these casinos in the middle of nowhere, they all do this. Actually, my girlfriend Sarah, who does our social media, she used to do social media for an ad agency, a different one that she works for now, and she had a couple casinos. She had to do and they were in Oklahoma. One was in California, and that's all it was. It was like, Sir Mix-a-Lot's in town.
Oh boy!
So I'm not even kidding. I remember her having to promote Sir Mix-a-Lot for like 2 weeks and like retweet pictures of like Sir Mix-a-Lot and like
that's hilarious and
fat
Snapchat
asses. Shit that he puts up. So anyway, he fights Magnificent Martinus Clay.
Okay,
he fights here.
He hasn't picked Mandigo yet. That's not even his name yet.
No. That's James's name.
Yeah.
From the beginning.
That's what I mean.
The guy he fights.
Has James picked that nickname
Fuck
already?
Yeah. Oh yeah. From the beginning, he is the Mandingo Warrior.
Jesus.
And Ann Wolfe, when she refers to him, she's like Mandingo.
Jesus.
So weird.
Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die, and we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns. We see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had. And, of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. And we put what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now. So get in there, listen to Small Town Murder. Follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Now back to the show.
So here he's fighting Magnificent Martinus Clay, a non-linker, of course. His career record, a sparkling 13-27-4. So, wow, not a real...
That's depressing.
I'd call him a journeyman, to be generous. This is a first-round knockout, 54 seconds in. So he just goes in and just overwhelms this poor guy.
So much for Magnificent.
Not very magnificent, not today. It's 10-0 for James Kirkland is his record. Now, this is things are going well for him. It's August 2003. Think about how well things are going right now. He started out as in a homeless shelter. In a homeless shelter, taken in. Now he's a professional boxer. He's undefeated. He's got people behind him. He's got a trainer who's like a real trainer behind him.
He's a pit bull off the leash, man.
All of these things are going so fucking well for him. He's 10-0. You think things are going to keep going well?
He's got to get married.
No, he does worse than get married.
What does he do?
Worse. And we say that because whenever things are going terribly for someone, they usually get married and make it worse and end up having a bad relationship in these stories every time. No. In September of 2003, we're in Austin, Texas, and a city patrolman has to chase James through a housing complex.
I thought you were just going to say like a naked African-American or some shit.
He's hanging out in the projects, and he is being chased by a patrolman, James is, under the suspicion of acting as a lookout for people stealing shit from cars and vandalizing and breaking into shit.
It's like an organized crime gang?
Yeah,
Is that what he's in?
it's just some kids in the projects fucking around, and they said, yo, you're a lookout. Yeah. And he just looked out. Who knows? The officer in his report wrote that, quote, Kirkland stated that he ran because he knew his companion did was wrong and that he did not want to get caught. Okay. Well, no shit. Another reason why he didn't want to get caught had nothing to do with his companion, what they were doing. When they searched Kirkland, they find 6 counterfeit $100 bills in his pocket.
Oh, shit.
That's federal shit right there. You can't have counterfeit money. And 6 $100 bills, that's not a mistake.
No.
It's not like he had 8 20s in his pocket and one of them was counterfeit. He's like, I got it from 7-Eleven. I don't know. That's all the money he had. 6 counterfeit $100 bills.
Fake bills.
And they weren't bad either. That's the other thing.
They're passable?
They're passable. So that's another thing where you're like, ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
In court documents here, he describes himself as unemployed and living with his mother because in between boxing, he's unemployed. He's originally charged with criminal mischief on the original arrest, but then later on they get him to plead guilty to forgery about because he possession of the bills, and he ends up agreeing to serving 2 years probation on a plea.
Wow!
So they're
getting him as the culprit of making the bills.
Well, just
that's
having
what forgery is.
Yeah, but that's why they only give him 2 years probation. So it's like you're going to plead to that, but we know you didn't make them. Clearly, you're
right. You're a boxer.
You're a fucking boxer. You don't have
an
a
undefeated
printing press
dummy.
somewhere. Do you even have a house? You live with your mother.
Right.
So
you don't have a printing press.
No, you don't have any of this shit. So 2 years probation for you. He wouldn't give up who he got him from, though.
Really?
Which is interesting.
To his credit.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Now, November 6th, 2003, he's trying to clear this shit out. Clear it out of his head, fix his life. He's got that. He fights, he's in Washington, D.C. He fights Russell Spider-Man Jordan, non-linker, a career 15-10 fight.
Spider-Man doesn't have a fucking
Spider-Man
page?
Does not have a page. I watched this fight. I saw this. There's video of this fight. Kirkland just overwhelms him.
Really?
I mean, this guy is overmatched. He's not ready for it. He's not ready for the onslaught. He's not ready for the power, and he can't handle it. And he's just basically running around for half a round trying to keep his head attached to his body until he's finally knocked out halfway through the first round.
Wishing he had a web and he could escape the ring.
He would love one of those just to shoot a web out up to the top and swing out to the balcony right now.
I quit.
Perfect. I quit because he is getting... It looks like he's just getting attacked by like a wild animal.
Like by Doc Ock?
Yeah. It's nuts.
With 8 arms just pummeling him?
That's what it looks like, man. It really does. It looks like when you see like a group of lions attack a gazelle.
Yeah.
You know?
I may not have seen The Wire, but I read a lot of comic books.
I didn't know what you were talking about, by the way, because I read no comic books.
Doc Ock is Dr. Octopus. He was the guy that puts fucking 8 arms on him.
I hate comic books. I always did. As a kid, I was like, that's really immature. I was like 9. I remember telling my cousin, like, dude, that's like fucking way immature.
Fucking babies read this
9.
Shit. Meanwhile, I was doing it when my fucking like 19 years old.
Well, now people are in their mid-40s going, have you seen the new episode of this? Get the
I'm
fuck
not that
out
guy.
of here. No, I'll sit here and study criminal athletes instead of fake characters. So
I'm not that dork.
No one's better. Let's just say that. So he beats the shit out of Russell Spider-Man Jordan, around 1 of 8, done. He's 11-0 right now. He's looking like a big-time prospect. He's starting to get a little bit of attention just for his style from, little boxing publications, things like that, promoters, but it's not going as well as he wants. He's not making any money in these fights.
Of course.
That's the problem, too. He speaks at this point, mid-2004. He talks about how frustrated he is.
Well, yeah. He's been fighting for fucking 9 years now, right?
Yeah, he's excessively frustrated. He has no money is the problem. He just has no money. Vanessa says that he then took a job at UPS, the United Parcel Service.
They hired him with forgery charges? That's
hired
amazing.
him with forgery charge. I don't know how he got that to happen.
That's incredible.
I don't know. Maybe the plea, I'm not sure. It was fraud, not forgery.
Oh, so
maybe it might have been a misdemeanor fraud.
He pled to forgery.
I think he pled to. He pleads to forgery. He does. You're right. He pleads to forgery and 2 years probation.
And that's crazy that they would hire him with a forgery charge when it's like counterfeit money. That's a crazy charge to be charged with when you're possessing people's fucking mail.
I would say.
Expensive shit.
Vanessa, his girlfriend here, as we know of, said about the UPS job, quote, he said, it's not enough money. How am I supposed to support you and a baby making $9 an hour? And I say that because Vanessa's pregnant.
Oh, Jesus.
And she's about to pop also.
Really?
She's about to pop.
$9 an hour in 2004?
Yeah.
Jesus,
UPS,
what was he doing? Folding boxes?
That's what I mean. Yeah, UPS.
UPS pays way better than that.
Maybe not there. And plus, I'm sure he was as entry level as it can be. I'm not sure if he has a driver's license even or anything. We have no idea.
Maybe that's
here.
what that forgery charge got him, was a $9 an hour paying job.
That might have been it too. Yeah. Probably priced him out of or pushed him right out of a driver job or something like that.
What can Brown do for you? $9 an hour. That's what he can do.
$9 an hour. Barely fucking make ends meet. Vanessa said of this, quote, he was always trying to find a way to get out of the situation he was in, trying to get out of the hood or whatever. I said, James, we're about to have a baby. You need to calm down and get back in the gym. She's like, look, $9 an hour isn't going to cut it. Get your ass in the gym and focus, motherfucker. And that's probably smart. November of 2004, James and Vanessa's first son is born, named... Jimmy?
Of course.
Jimmy, what's his name?
James Kirkland Jr.
You bet your ballsack. Junior.
Fuck.
Obviously.
Asshole.
Obviously.
My first guess was going to be Mandingo Warrior.
Mandingo Jr. But yeah, he went with James fucking Jr.
Unbelievable.
It was so funny. When I saw that, I said, I don't even have to look this up. It's James Jr. But then later on, I'm like, I should look it up. Sure enough, it's fucking James Jr. I didn't even have to look it up. I could have just said it. So he's under a lot of pressure right now.
Yeah.
He hasn't fought in a few months. Yeah. He hasn't fought since November of 2003.
Jesus.
So he's
we're in 2004
Yeah,
now.
he's got a big layover. He's been working at UPS. Things are not going well. And now he's got a son, which is even more pressure. It's tough. You know what I mean? This is tough on the guy. So, I mean, I don't know what you do in this situation, but he finds something to do.
Make more money?
Well, in a way.
Fake?
In a way.
Create?
December 22nd.
Produce?
No, not produce. Okay. Definitely not produce. On December 22nd, 2004, just 3 days shy of Christmas, the manager of a Dollar Tree store. Dollar Tree is a dollar store here where you buy shit.
You buy garbage products for nothing.
$1 a piece. Was attacked in a parking lot. The robber attacks him, robs him, gets away with $1,797.
Whoa!
From this, I guess the guy was going to do a deposit. Bank drop at the end of the night. The store manager gives a description and ends up seeing a lineup later and picking James out of the lineup as the robber.
So he didn't wear a mask?
He didn't wear a mask. He's charged with aggravated robbery.
Eesh.
He doesn't know what to do, so his girlfriend calls a lawyer who she saw on TV. Literally, arrested?
Yeah.
DUI? Call us today. And then she got a stupid theme song. Like, what the
She's watching People's Court, and she's like, that guy can help me.
She didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
She's not used to this.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. She's not
commercial break fucking lawyer.
Commercial break lawyer.
Jesus.
Nothing down.
Yeah.
Don't.
If you're listening to this, by the way,
don't hire lawyers you see on television.
Stop. Hastings and Hastings or fucking Lerner and Rowe. All of it's garbage. Don't fucking use them.
There's so many great attorneys in this country that are known as like wonderful attorneys. You've never seen a commercial for any of them.
No.
Never.
When was the last time you saw a fucking ad for Jose Baez? Never. You know when I saw it? On fucking Court TV when he's defending Casey Anthony and gets her off. That's when I saw him.
Exactly. No, that's exactly right.
That's the commercial.
That's the commercial.
You don't need any more than that.
Not this guy on TV.
No.
She didn't know what to do. She's losing her mind. Yeah. She's now has a brand new baby, and he's getting taken to jail, and they have no money.
She's got a fucking commercial break lawyer.
Yeah, I feel bad for this poor woman. He waited trial. Everybody stayed with him, though, because they were all believed in him, and he had his little close-knit thing. His mother, Paula, wrote the judge. She said, "Sir, I cannot believe my son committed the offense of which he's accused," which from his mother, I don't know what that would mean.
That's
anything
that's
to the
the
judge.
letter she's supposed to write.
Yeah. He ends up pleading to the aggravated assault. He is sentenced to 5 years, or aggravated robbery, 5 years. He does over 2 years.
Wow.
Over 2 years. Released in 2006 to serve 8 years probation after that.
Whoa.
So he's got a heavy probation too.
And all total, that's 10 years of punishment for this shit.
Yeah, for a
Don't
dollar
rob
store.
people, goddammit.
Don't fucking rob people, especially with a weapon in your hand. Assholes. So he's released from prison in 2006. Vanessa said, quote, "At that point right there, I was scared he was going to give up. When you come out of jail, you don't have nothing. You don't have a car. You don't have clothes. You don't have shoes. He didn't know where to start." So that makes sense. She said she drove him to Walmart when he got out to buy him jeans and T-shirts. Just something. She drove him to the mall to get him a decent pair of shoes because, I mean, not to sound racist, but black guys got to have decent shoes.
They do.
It's just that they judge each other by their shoes.
He may have some Wranglers on, but check out those fresh J's.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah. And you know this as a fact as a comedian. When you're on stage and there's a black guy in the first 3 rows,
his shoes
how
are
many
on
fucking
the stage.
times does he look at your shoes?
Yeah. And his shoes are on the stage so that he can size yours up.
Yeah. Motherfucker, your shoes better than mine. So they move in together at this point, Wells and Kirkland, because why not? You know, they have a baby. What the fuck? Why not move in together? Vanessa said that he would bring home stray dogs. Mm-hmm. She's like,
he's got a heart.
He's got a heart. Yeah. He does have a heart. And she would send them away, the dogs, because she's like, well, we can't even afford a baby. We're not fucking 5 dogs in the house,
oh, that's cute. You got a dog. I'm gonna go feed it. And she's like, I sent it out for ice cream.
Yeah, I said he'll be back in a little while. He's going to pick up the pizza. Right. They moved in with her mother, which is rough with the baby and all that. He begins training again.
Yeah.
He begins training. Now, after this, once he gets out and he starts training, Pops has a stroke. He's had 2 strokes up to now. He has a third stroke. And he can't do it anymore. Yeah, physically he doesn't have what it takes to do the training
anymore.
Stand
there with him.
He wants to select another trainer to be his head person to do all the thing, and he selects Wolf. Mm-hmm. He asks Ann Wolf to do it. She said she can't coach. He said, yes, you can. Before it's over, you'll be better at it than me. But don't worry about it. You can do anything you put your mind to. You lived under a fucking boat, and you're here now. So So
I can't believe she has the word "can't" in her vocabulary anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like after all of that, how can you say I can't do it?
I think she was trying to be polite to him, like I'm not you. You know what I mean? Like because that's her mentor. She's trying to do that sort of thing. Yeah, it's probably just one of those.
I don't know if I'm her. I might walk outside and somebody say you can't fly. I'd be like, I don't know. Maybe I can because I've fucking done everything else. She really put Kirkland through put the screws to him now on the training. They'd get out in a field 110 degrees with tractor tires, flipping them, doing that whole thing. First fucking CrossFit.
That's what she is. She's like she made up her own CrossFit routine. They'd work the mitts, the punching mitts. Yeah, they'd work the mitts while he was wearing a plastic sauna suit, and they turn the heat up in the gym.
What?
So this is what they do with high school wrestlers. They put on they turn the heat up to 110 and make them run around and make weight.
Fuck.
This is what they do, but it wasn't to make weight. It was just to toughen them up.
It's like putting them in the hot box in slavery.
Yeah,
to break them.
It is. They did road work. They pounded heavy bag that they hung from a truck outside. Billingsley's old truck. They hung. I mean, He's training like fucking Rocky.
Yeah, punching a side of beef in a freezer.
Punching a side of beef and like chasing a chicken.
This is ridiculous.
Running up a Russian hill with a log on his back. This is what he's doing.
Mr. Miyagi would catch the fly with the fucking with the tweezer things.
That's what we got going on here.
Things.
The chopsticks, Jimmy. I think you're looking for. I think you're looking for chopsticks. Would be the word.
I'm stupid.
Jesus, that's funny. Tweezer things. Tweezer things? Okay, I've never heard that before.
That's unbelievable. I can't believe that came out of my fucking mouth.
Those tweezer things.
You know, catch a fly. I'm trying to.
Them tweezer things the Orientals use. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, fucking
they grab the rice or whatever the fuck those people eat with them things. You know, that thing.
They grab the raw fish and shit. There's always in shit afterwards. They grabbed the raw fish.
Oh, that's terrible.
Jesus, all right.
That is terrible. He's out of prison.
Yeah.
Out of prison, ready to go. April 21st, 2006.
Yeah.
He's ready for his 12th fight.
Yeah.
It is at the Omar Shrine Temple in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina.
Okay.
He fights Manny Castillo, who is his first linked opponent.
All right.
Which I was excited, and I clicked on the link, and the fucking link is wrong. So never depend on Wikipedia for anything.
Bastards.
I never use Wikipedia. Like literally.
Yeah.
When we do a boxer or an MMA guy, I will use it because they have an easy-to-read list of their fights and records and where they are, and then I have to do all the other. Then I have to make sure that information is correct.
Basically, you go to Wikipedia for birth date and name, and then get the fuck out of there.
And not even name because they never have the full name on there. But Wikipedia is terrible. I do just like an outline, and then I'm like, now I have to fact check this shit because it's not going to be right.
And every time you get onto Wikipedia, they're like, donate some money to us. Why? All your shit's wrong anyway.
So, at least we asked for for money, but at least ours is fucking information's pretty accurate, I think. I hope so. Christ, I haven't slept in a while.
That's what happens when you involve everybody that reads your website and allow everybody to put shit on there, you fucking jerks.
This link does definitely not lead to a boxer. It leads to a former Kansas City Royals third baseman with a .242 lifetime batting average and 3 career home runs.
Pretty sure he didn't fight him.
No, he also played a year with Seattle, and his career was like 1982 to 1984, so he would have been like 45 years old at this point.
He's not fighting.
I don't think he's fighting this guy. The actual fighter, who I had to track down in other places, not easily, by the way, is 13, 16, and 3 for his career. Wow. So he's about as good as a guy who played third base for the Royals. The other Manny that he fought that was the boxer, he beats by TKO at 2 minutes 37 seconds in round 3 of 6, bringing his record to 12-0. Going on to this 13th fight, May 5th, 2006, Lucky Star Casino again, Conco, Oklahoma, baby. He fights David Estrada, an actual link to him. But again, wrong fucking link. Again, there's a link. The Estrada that it's linked to is a 26-6 career fighter, former USBA welterweight champion that lost to Sugar Shane Mosley in 2005.
God.
That's a good. I'm assuming
that's a great fight.
I saw that. And I'm like, okay, this is a different fighter. There's no way that this fighter. James, first of all, it wasn't on his record, David Estrada's record, so I'm like, what the fuck? And then I said, oh, yeah, he wouldn't be fighting in a casino in Oklahoma if he just fought Shane Mosley the year before. So that's not the right guy. The guy who actually it was is a different Estrada completely. Jeez, this was a tough one, man. This is why I haven't slept. David Estrada, this one is known as the Weasel, like Paulie fucking Shore, known as the Weasel, and he spells it Weezel.
Oh, my God.
The Weasel. You're a boxer.
I'm shocked, being honest. I'm shocked that Paulie Shore didn't spell it like that.
I thought he did. He probably was pissed he didn't think of it. This guy is a 12-11 career fighter, not the same as the other guy. This fight is over in the third round with a TKO at 105 in the third. He knocks people out in the third round. He's 13-0 now, James.
How about this real quick? Just to give James a little bit of credit, a guy that, desperate for money, went and robbed somebody to help pay for his family. He's got a big heart. He goes to prison for it. He comes out. In a system, and I hate to say it, but in a system that's built in America and in Texas where they're racist and they fucking
Texas is not built for the underprivileged.
He's very underprivileged and he's black and he's been to prison and he gets a job with a fucking huge company and he gets back into fighting and he's now 13-0. He has the chance to get his life back on track.
He really does, man.
After a small hiccup of just trying to take care of his family.
Yeah, where do you hear the opportunities?
I still give him the credit too. Like at this point, I don't hate him at all.
No, he grew up in a homeless shelter, for Christ's sake. I mean, the shit he did was stupid when he was trying to be a boxer and he's got a kid. You can't go robbing.
No, you can't.
I mean, that poor guy.
It's a mistake. Yeah, he scared the fuck out of a guy.
He might be traumatized and everything else.
And he had a weapon. He could have killed the fucking guy.
He's not doing great, but I mean, for where he came from, it could be much worse.
To be 13-0 and only been in prison for 2 years, he's doing pretty all right.
He's doing pretty goddamn good, and he's not like Tommy Morrison. He hasn't acquired AIDS and denied it. So he's got to step up on other boxers we've had right away.
And he's only been with one woman that we know of. Like he's only got
one pregnant
cheating on her so far that we know.
For a boxer. We move on to June 3rd, 2006. This is his 14th fight. It's at the Thomas and Mack Center in Vegas.
All right.
So it's a big one. He fights Ray Cunningham.
Okay.
Non-linker, of course. Obviously. Career 7-12 record, so a real barn burner here. He TKOs Ray Cunningham at 2 minutes and 16 seconds in round 1. So just knocks the shit out of him. These guys have if you've got a guy who's got a career losing record, they don't have any chance against this guy.
An undefeated record.
They're journeymen, and this guy's just so aggressive. I mean, it's insane. So this brings him up to 14-0, and now there starts to be articles about him, and people starting to notice him a little bit because he's fun to watch. I mean, if there's a card that he's on at the end of the night, all anyone can talk about is that one guy in there, that middleweight, that light middleweight. That guy
that's been to prison.
That was awesome. Yeah, that was a great fight. Like that, they love watching him, and you can't help but you don't even have to like boxing. You'll love watching this guy fight. It's just exciting. Like if everybody fought like this, there would be no UFC.
All right.
The reason the UFC exists is because of plotting boxers staring at each other, throwing a jab
dancing
here and there,
around,
dancing
hugging,
here and there. Yes.
All that shit.
If everybody fought like him and like 87 Mike Tyson and like that, there wouldn't be UFC because it would be so... UFC is so boring compared to a James Kirkland fight.
Really?
So fucking boring. They never... UFC, half the time they're not touching each other when they're on their feet.
And then when they're on the floor, they're just hugging and wrestling around too.
Yeah, they're on the floor, they're grappling.
Right.
Like, we're watching grappling.
In a general fight, you've got 2 rounds, or you've got maybe 80 seconds of actual fighting.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it's just fucking strategic dancing.
This fight, James Kirkland, every fight, the bell rings...
And he's killing somebody.
Nobody stops swinging until somebody falls. End of story.
It's like high school fights. That's how it was.
But with gloves on, and the guys can throw. I mean, you would not watch one of his fights and go, I want to watch a couple guys grapple now. You'd be like, no, where are more of his fights? I'm telling you right now. We have his promoter, a guy named Gary Shaw, silver-haired middle-aged white man, popping out of the woodwork for him now. He says in this article, quote, he's a special kid. He can hit you with 2 hands with KO power. Right now, there's only a handful of people who know James Kirkland, but trust me, by this time next year, a whole lot more will know about James Kirkland.
Uh-oh.
That's
an ominous sounding quote, too.
It's watch out, motherfucker.
It's
he's
either
coming.
He knows that he's going to be a great fighter, or he knows he's going to be a felon.
He's going to kill 12 people. Either one. He's going to
He's
either
going to be very successful at boxing, or he's going to be so frustrated that he's not successful at boxing, he's going to fucking murder people.
He's going to murder people and bury him under his mother-in-law's floorboards.
Or at least under a boat.
Or under a boat. I couldn't decide between the floorboards and the boat. I swear I went back and forth.
At least his mother's got a floorboard now.
I was like, he's got a floorboard. Ann Wolf had the boat. I'll go floorboard. We have an in their own words here about this. This is from this article here, and it's him being a little cocky now.
Yeah.
In their own words, quote, the way I train and the ability that I have, there is no man at 154 that can fight me and beat me. I figure the only way I lose is if I beat myself by not training, not working hard. I feel I'm on the right track.
I like it.
So, yeah, you got to have this kind of confidence and swagger. And even if you don't, you have to act like you do in boxing. Because the guy across from you has to feel like you think you can kick his ass. Otherwise, he's gonna have confidence. You don't want him to have confidence. You want to have confidence.
And I got confidence for him. We've already covered his crime. The future here is all bright.
It's all good. It's gonna come out. He's good now.
Yeah,
he is good now, right?
It's crime in sports. We've had crime. Now let's cover this.
Now it's just all sports from here on out, right, guys?
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer,
right? I don't think so. That wasn't enough for us, guys. Not enough for us.
Go on.
Has a 3rd round win on July 28th of 2006. Has a 2nd round win on October 6th against a couple of non-linker, non-important guys here. December 1st, 2006. He's fighting his 17th fight. It's at the Chumash Casino Resort in Santa Ynez, California. And I actually know that one because that is one of the ones that Sarah did social media for.
All right.
Was Chumash.
All right.
And they have old comics and washed up music acts.
Jesus.
And it's just, it's in the middle of the fucking desert. It literally is in the middle of nowhere.
Hart comes to town and people lose their fucking mind.
Oh, if Hart came to town, they'd be advertising for a year for Hart. I'm talking people that make Hart look like nothing. Hart was great.
Kenny
in the 70s.
Loggins.
Shit, if the log came there, the desert would be on fire, baby. People would be coming in. It would look like...
The Heat, is that him? The Heat is on? Is that him? No.
Heat is on. Yeah, the Heat is on. Highway to the Danger Zone. The Caddyshack song.
Yeah, the Caddyshack song is great.
Basically every movie soundtrack is either him or Randy Newman in the 80s. It's like, we need an upbeat one that's like kind of rocky. We'll go Kenny Loggins. Then we need something kind of soulful and we'll go Randy Newman.
We need Love Story, Randy Newman.
Yeah, Randy Newman. There we go. Perfect.
We need something where there's sex going on. Go get Kenny Loggins.
Go get Loggins. Yeah. He's gonna rip it up with Highway to the Danger Zone. Yeah.
I just found out they had that song play 3 times in Top Gun.
Fuck yeah.
3 fucking times.
Yeah. And then they had different versions of it, too. They had a version where it was like, bow, 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 like a slowed down version, like of the guitar riff. Jesus. They had that. They used it like score.
Yeah.
It's like Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone. Yeah. That song from the beginning.
I don't even know what it's called, but that song is crazy cool, though. I love that song.
Halfway across the sky, Frank Stallone.
It's great.
At every point,
the song is awesome.
No matter what is going on in the movie, there is a score version of that in the background, lending to the mood of that scene. Like if it's a tender moment between him and his son, it's just piano,
set the mood.
literally. Din, 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 just a piano. Dun, 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 dun. Just that in the background. If it's like them working out, it's like this big like wow 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 guitar riff version of it. You're like, what is fucking going on?
That's our theme song. We got to have it
time
everywhere.
Did they spend on this shit?
I wish they would have done that with like Young Guns. That song from Young Guns, the second Young Guns, was the Bon Jovi song.
Yeah.
It's fucking rad. Was it Bon Jovi? It was Bon Jovi,
so,
right?
Yeah.
It's a fucking great song, though.
Yeah.
If they'd have done that everywhere in that movie, I'm
Wasn't
in.
exactly Winner Takes It All from the end of Over the Top, though. Winner takes it all. Trying to take it over the top. You know how it goes, Jimmy.
So good. I love that song. I love that movie.
I'll rip your shitting arm off. I love the guy. Sidetrack for 1 second. I apologize. We honestly rarely
that's the
sidetrack
motor oil
for
guy,
more than
right?
30
No,
seconds.
it's not.
No, that's a different
guy.
The Bull Hurley is the bald guy who's like the champ at the end. He's like 5-time champ.
Rip your shitting arm.
He goes, I'll rip your shitting arm off, and I'm like, I just want to.
Doesn't even make sense.
That's the thing. We had an idea for a video where I want to send Jimmy into places and just have him challenge people to arm wrestling for no reason. Because Jimmy's like 5'8" white dude. I just want to have him put in
with a trucker hat, just flip it on backwards,
bang his elbow on the table, and go, "Rip your shitting arm off." Just to random people, like at the bank, just walk into the convenience store and be like,
"Come on, Trevor, let's go!
I'll rip your shitting arm off." They'd be like, "What? What are you talking?
Who is this guy?
What the fuck is wrong with
this guy? Do you want your balance, sir?
Would you need any ice or stamps? Rip your shitting arm off.
Plastic, motherfucker.
You still have to pay, even if you rip my shitting arm off.
I'll bet I can get a bagger to say, "What's your fucking problem?"
Yeah. By the way, at the end of Over the Top, they say 1,000,000 times it's double elimination. Bull only loses the final match, and then it's over.
That's it. What the fuck?
Except if you're Bull, Sly should have had to go beat him again. 2 out of 3.
Well, he didn't rip his shitting arm off.
He did not rip his shitting arm off. He failed to do that.
So
okay.
That's 2 losses.
Well, if you haven't seen Over the Top, I apologize. You should watch Over the Top because it's hilariously awful.
You fucking blew it if you haven't seen it.
It's awful and
great. He's got a kid, and he's trying to teach him life lessons.
In a truck while arm wrestling across the... You would be getting this truck, and we're going to arm wrestle our way across the country. And I love how, I'm going to arm wrestle for custody of my son. What?
I don't think that works. I don't think that works in court of law.
It's hilarious. Moving on from Over the Top. I don't know how. Let's just talk about Over the Top for the next 10. Sorry, guys. We're going to suspend the rest of the episode.
The guy that drinks motor oil,
all over the top.
That's fucking crazy, though.
It is.
That's ridiculous.
And they show him drinking Pepto-Bismol in the next scene. So,
all right.
Chumash. Back at Chumash, because, wow, we got way off base. By the way, his next 3 fights are also going to be a Chumash.
Really?
He's in a Chumash kind of zone here.
Put him in a room?
In a Chumash groove. Yeah, they gave him a room. He's like, I'll stay in here forever. Fuck it.
I'll stay.
It's better than the boat. Yeah. So he fights David Torabito, non-linker, of course.
Yeah.
This man is 22-16 career. Not great. Journeyman. James KOs him in 135 of round 4 of 8, bringing him to 17-0. Next 2 fights are both at Chumash. They're against non-linkers, an 8th round TKO, and a 10th round unanimous decision.
Yeah.
He's going the distance with this shit. His fights are not getting noticed now because he needed to really cement his... After that article and everything, he really needed to cement his position by knocking the shit out of people in dominating fashion. And if you're fighting a 10-round unanimous decision against a non-linker at the Chumash Casino, you're not really seen as the next hot idol.
No.
You know what I mean? The couple, him and Wells, get separated now. They have 2 kids. They get separated with that. She ends up having 1 more, so he's got a total of 3 children, which isn't bad for us. For what we do here, that's not
it's
a lot.
Pretty decent, especially when you're a junior. Right. You come from shit, you have no money. All there is to do is fuck. And generally that makes kids.
And generally, they're not, a lot of these guys, too, they're not that bright, these athletes, and they don't use protection.
Right.
That's the problem.
She's
they don't understand
not on
how
a pill.
That works.
They aren't yanking out.
It's
They're
very complicated.
Filling them up and crossing their fingers.
Filling them up.
Filling them up and crossing their fingers.
I just pictured a water balloon for some reason. Like, filling them up like a water balloon. That's terrible. That is gross. Filling them up.
Filling them up and crossing their fingers.
Oh, it's coming out of other places.
They're slow.
It's coming out of other places. It's so fun.
They're
disgusting.
fucking ears.
So they get separated. Vanessa tells James what she said. She said, quote, "I know you think I talk too much or don't want you to have fun, but I just want what's best for you." In other words, I feel like she's saying, I know you think I'm a fucking nag, but, you're an insane person and you need someone to nag you. That's what it is.
You need help through life.
Yes. So September 1st, 2007, he has his 20th fight. It is at the Emerald Queen Casino in Tacoma, Washington. So that's another, we've talked about that one on a couple before. He fights Mohammed Syed. Fucking Oz reference. Again, another show you need to watch. Mohammed Syed is Oz. Mohammed Syed is the Muslim guy in Oz. He's the guy.
I don't know.
He's the guy who wears the denim shirt, the beads with the prayer cap and all that shit, and he speaks very clearly, and he tells everybody he's like an author and shit. Mohammed Syed. Anyway, watch Oz, goddammit. He has a beef with Syed.
But he did not fight him.
No, he has a beef with that Abisi at one point. It's fair, but he doesn't fight that Oz. That Mohammed Syed. Non-linker with a career 42-10 record.
That's great.
Which is fantastic for a non-linker.
That's a non-linker with that kind of record?
He must have fought garbage or something, because I was shocked when I saw that. Like 42-10. Sure, that's not 10-42.
Is this his first loss?
No, it's 42-10. He's old. He's
old
by now.
Is this our man's first loss?
No. James KOs him, knocks him out at 2:32 of round 2 of 10.
That's good.
I feel like this guy was on his way out of a decent career.
Probably.
So he's now 20-0.
That's awesome.
20-0 sounds great for James. That really sounds good. November 30th has his 21st fight against, it's at Chumash again. Okay. God forbid they need to bring people to the desert. He fights Alan the Dream Shatterer Conyers.
The Dream Shatterer.
Shatterer.
That's a tough fucking nickname. That's awful.
A tough one here. Yeah, he's a career 12-10 fighter. It's too long. Dream Shatterer.
That's awful.
Shatterer.
Shatterer.
That's a terrible word.
That's three Shatterer. That's 3 syllables.
Yeah, when I was writing,
I just had to count that because it's such a weird.
When I was writing it down, I'm like, am I spelling? Am I putting an extra on there or what? Like it just doesn't work right at all.
It looks ugly too. It doesn't look
terrible.
Right.
This fight was wild. This is another fight I saw here. They came out throwing. Both these guys came out just dropping bombs. Yeah. Kirkland actually got knocked down. There was a stiff right hand that knocked Kirkland down for half a second. He got right back up and just started. I mean, they were just going at it. Yeah. It was it was very interesting. Okay. This whole thing here. So this fight ends in a TKO at 2:56 in round 1. Finally, he
figured it out.
He figured it out, beat this guy until he couldn't do it anymore.
In round 1.
That's right at the end of round 1, too. So he doesn't let up. He doesn't go, 10 seconds left in the round, I'll take it easy. He's like, I better fight. I better end this now. Yeah. This brings him to 21-0. Now, his next fight is May 17th, 2008. It's his 22nd fight. It's at the Star of the Desert Arena in Nevada, in Vegas. He fights Aramaseli Albert. He fights. Yeah. Aramaseli Albert. He's a linker. Good fighter, a career 24-6-1 fighter.
Only 6.
He has the craziest fucking lump on his head that I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
He's got a lump that is about the size of a...
that James Kirkland gave him? Or he walked into the room with that?
It's like one of those Easter peanut butter eggs.
He already has it?
It's on his forehead, on the right side of his forehead. It's a huge lump.
And he comes into the ring with that already.
Yeah, and they make comment about it too. They're like, that didn't happen in sparring. That's not an accident. He's had that on his head since he was a kid. So he's got this big lump on his head that he fights with, this guy, which is crazy. This guy comes out swinging too. They both come out swinging. It's a minute into the first round. They're just, this never stops. They're swinging. Someone's getting knocked out in the first round.
Or that thing's coming off his head. James drops him with a quick left hook that you barely even saw. Really?
It's one of those, you barely even saw it. There was like a second delay, and then the guy fell down. It was one of those, like, he didn't even know what happened. And then he's like, why can't I stand up? He pops right back up, and James is on him. One punch, and the ref jumps in and calls it.
Really?
Albert pops up, but his legs are
wobbly.
He shouldn't have let it go on, the ref, but he let Kirkland come in for one punch, and Albert kind of fell against the ropes, and then they jumped in and called it.
That's nice.
And Kirkland looked pissed. He was like, "What are you doing, calling? I want to beat his ass more." Like he's an angry fighter. It's great.
He needs to understand though that stoppage is the win. That's the paycheck.
And this win is for something. This fight was for the vacant WBO light middleweight title.
That's why he wants it. He wants it convincing.
Yes, so he does it. He's got a belt now. 22-0, and he's a champ. It's a minor champ. It's not a major title,
but nonetheless.
A champ is a champ.
A man that's been to prison. is now a champion.
Now has a belt.
Yeah.
And he's getting paid money. Something else happens to him that's even bigger than that here. The attention draws the attention of the boxing world.
Okay.
There's the video of this is a huge hit on YouTube.
Oh.
This video is amazing.
Oh, yeah. This is 2008?
Yeah. They're swinging like crazy, 2 knockdowns in a minute. I mean, it's a wild fight. Look it up. It's so much fun to watch. And so everyone sees it, and it gets passed around a lot. And some people at a company called Golden Boy Promotions find him, who is Oscar De La Hoya's company.
Oh, okay.
Now, Oscar De La Hoya, even if you're not a boxing fan, you should probably know who Oscar De La Hoya is. Famous Olympian. He did commercials, Pretty Boys. We all know who
like
he is.
A woman.
He does.
Those fishnet photos are amazing.
Yeah, they are pretty funny.
That's pretty awesome.
They are, and I hate his boxing style. I hate his Olympic point style.
Yeah.
He's De La Hoya is the opposite of Kirkland.
Really?
De La Hoya is like, I want it to go all 12, and I want to never get touched and jab you until I win on points. Whereas this guy's like, punch me if you want. I'm swinging from the heels. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So he signs with Golden Boy Promotions as to get promoted this way. He is guaranteed at least $150,000 a fight. Right now. From a kid who was in a homeless shelter, had nothing, he's guaranteed $150,000 per fight at least.
Wow.
Depending on who he fights.
$150,000.
Yes, possibly more. That's the minimum, though. That's
this is a guy that's been to prison.
Yeah.
And now he's making... If he fights twice in a year, he's making $300,000.
That's more than that guy's career earning potential would have. You would have thought at 6 when he's at a homeless shelter.
Absolutely.
That guy's not going to make $300,000 in his career in his life. That guy's
going to do it in a year
30.
if he does two
fights.
2 fights.
So in 2008. Both Ann Wolfe, the trainer, and James are featured on A Real Sports with Brian Gumbel.
Holy shit!
Oh yeah, it was. The feature was. Talking about the whole thing, them.
Yeah.
They talk about Ann Wolfe a lot. During this, it's really interesting. She was pulled over while they were filming with one of her trainees in the car. Or the trainee was driving, and she was pulled over and handcuffed along with this boxer out in front of the gym. She was eventually released, but the boxer was arrested on suspicion of auto theft.
Oh shit!
And so it was a big deal because she was pissed off that she thinks the cops were looking for them and that sort of thing. Profiling them, and I guess Kirkland was outside the gym when they saw it, and she was like, stay over there.
Yeah.
You know, the last thing you fucking need is to get arrested again.
Yeah.
She said, quote, about the whole thing, they asked her, what did he do? And she said, quote, I don't know what these kids do. I try to help these kids, and this shit happens. She's just pissed. She's like, this fucking shit always, God damn it. So she's upset about this whole thing, and I don't blame her. But they show their whole thing on Real Sports. She was also on, there was another segment of HBO Sports, too, that they did a thing on Kirkland and the training with Wolf and his story about, finding pops and all that sort of thing. So now they're trying to make him even like this marketable, sympathetic. Yeah. Like they're trying to market him.
Rags to riches. It's a
smart.
big deal. Yeah.
When you get a promoter, that's what they're going to try to do, So November 22nd, 2008, this is his 24th fight, is at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas.
Wow.
Hitting the fucking big time now that you're with Oscar. He fights Brian Vera, who's a good fighter, career 23-11 fighter, and a tough fighter. He's real tough. His style doesn't match well with Kirkland as far as that goes. He's not going to come out and just trade blows with Kirkland. He's a good boxer. Yeah. This fight ends in Kirkland winning a 8th round TKO.
Okay.
So this shows that he can go 8 rounds, keep it together,
and still knock somebody
slip out, and still get a fight stops. That's really impressive, honestly, because that was the thing they were worried about with Tyson back in the day. What happens when someone takes him 12?
Right.
And he proved, I'll just win by decision.
Yeah.
But this happens here. He's 24-0. March 7th, 2009, his 25th fight. Is against, it's at the HP Pavilion in San Jose.
Oh.
So another good one. He fights Joel Julio of Colombia. He's a career 38-4 fighter. Wow. So, I mean, this fight was a war.
Yeah.
Watch this on YouTube. It's a half
a big
hour.
One. Silicon Valley, that's a big deal.
This fight's amazing, though. It's a half hour of nothing but two guys pummeling the living shit out of each other.
I like it.
I don't know how either one of them lasted till the 6th round. Put it that way.
That's where it went to?
It went to 6 rounds.
Yeah.
I don't know how either one of them lasted because they were just beating each other senseless.
Awesome.
They both went down multiple times.
That's fucking boxing.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And finally, in the 6th round, end of the 6th round, Kirkland was just... he started working him at the end of the 6th.
Yeah?
He got his groove. He worked him over, and the ref went over and waved it off in between rounds, said that Julio couldn't come out for the 7th.
Awesome.
He waved it off because you could see him over there. He was cut, lumped, his eyes he was fucked up. He was getting his ass kicked.
Kirkland's a bad man.
Absolutely.
I love this guy.
You got to like him for now, you know what I mean? Until you want him to succeed.
Yeah.
You want a guy like this to succeed. So now he is set, after this, he's set to fight a guy named Mike Walker on the undercard of the Manny Pacquiao-Ricky Hatton fight card. Which is huge. That's a big fight.
Being on any fight with Ricky Hatton and Pacquiao, that's
big
crazy.
Fight.
Yeah.
So that's big. It's a nice payday. He's going to make over $150,000 for that fight. It's just tremendous for him. Now we have it in their own words about this. This is about his the dangerous situations in his life that he still encounters, even though he has all of this. In their own words, quote, "Where I stay in East Austin, they look at you not just as a fan or a friend. They also look at you as a target because you have access to money. Now you're like a money target. Oh, he's got money, man. These boxers making this type of money. So they start looking at you as a target instead of looking at you as a friend.
You bet.
And this is what happens to countless. It happens countless times to this whole deal. Now, on April 19th, 2009.
You know who else went through this shit was, the guy with that fucked up name. I can't think of his name. He's a boxer.
Biabucci?
The little skinny bald guy that was from New York.
Guy we covered or no?
No, we haven't covered him.
Jesus Christ, could be anybody.
He's a fuck. He's got such a fucked up name.
Not sure.
He was robbed by fucking rappers constantly.
Yeah.
I forget his name. He got sucker punched out front of a fucking hotel, and they robbed him, took his car or something. Yeah. He had like a Maserati or something. They stole that and drove it through the streets of New York. He got jumped in a club a bunch of times. He's a bad dude though. He's a complete asshole.
It happens all the time.
Yeah,
it happens all the time. And He's saying that we're in 2009. He says later on, and we'll get into the details of it, but he says around this time he was robbed.
Okay.
And that's where this quote came from of him being
like Crittenden.
Says he's got danger. Yeah. Uh-huh. So now April 19th, 2009.
Yeah.
We are in Austin at the Crockett Center where he's actually had a fight.
Yeah.
There's no fight tonight. It's the Saxit Gun Show today. It's one of the largest organizations of its kind in Texas. It includes a monthly show in Austin, and the group hosts at least 38 shows a year around the state, gun shows. So these people are selling guns everywhere.
Yeah. That's Texas. Welcome.
It's Texas, yeah. Officers are staking out the gun show, and they follow Kirkland, and he's there. He's with a 20-year-old woman. They have a black Cadillac. They follow him through the thing. They end up pulling him over as he's leaving.
Yeah.
And in the car, lo and behold, they find a .40 caliber handgun.
Yeah.
Guess what he is?
A felon.
Guess what he's not allowed to have?
A .40 caliber handgun.
They also find a box of .40 caliber ammunition.
God damn it.
And they find a letter from Kirkland's probation officer that grants him permission to leave the state for a boxing match. The whole
but
deal.
Not a letter giving permission to have a fucking weapon.
Pistol. Yeah. So he is arrested right there.
God damn it.
On the spot for possession of a firearm by a felon. Oscar De La Hoya is not happy about this.
Oh, I'm sure.
He says, quote, "I'm very disappointed in him.
Yep.
It hurt me because we do believe in him and we want to create something big."
Yeah.
He continues to say, "I have to say that I put some of the blame on myself.
Yeah.
I was too late to talk to Kirkland and take him under my wing because we just recently signed him and we had to deal with other fighters. I want to take that responsibility."
Yeah.
So he's actually... De La Hoya is trying to be a man about the thing and be like, look, maybe I could have helped.
Fishnets.
Yeah, a man in fishnets.
He stood there with the reporter putting a microphone in his face. He's standing there in fishnets and he goes, "This is fucking embarrassing." His behavior is embarrassing.
Regardless of what I'm wearing, his behavior is embarrassing to me. I don't care what I'm wearing. Now, James has a different story, of course. Yeah. He didn't just go in, buy a gun, and walk out.
Right.
That didn't happen.
It's the 20-year-old's gun.
No. Now, a lot of this is going to be quotes from him. I'm not going to do in their own words because it would be a trillion of them. We'll save that for later. But he says, and this is a quote from him, "Basically, I got robbed previous to me buying the gun, so I thought it was in my best interest to protect my kids. So I thought about just going to the gun show, buy a gun, even though I already knew I was a felon. I was just like, I'll get this for protection. And even though I tried to get it from a private owner, it all backtracked on me. I signed my name and gave him my ID and just got in a world of trouble." Well, yeah, dipshit, obviously.
They don't do background checks at fucking gun shows.
Well, they do
know that.
Minor ones. We'll get into this. He says, "I'd say the robbery was a week and a half before the incident," I guess when he was arrested. "The reason I didn't report it, he didn't report the robbery, is because the person had a mask on or something like that."
Or something like that.
What the fuck kind of a line is that? He had on a mask or some shit. I don't know. Just didn't see his face.
Here's the thing. I understand where he's coming from because I was robbed at gunpoint, and that's why I have guns, because of that. But guess who's not
You're
a felon?
You're not a felon. That's the thing.
So I understand where he's coming from in the fact that you want to protect yourself, and I don't carry cash anymore. There's a lot of things that I do differently because of it, but I didn't commit a crime prior to or after.
No, he says my knowledge was how can you do anything about it? How can you get justice done if I just say, oh, I seen the robber and he was just in some car? Well, there's license plates. There's a lot of different things you can do. He said he had a mask on. They're going to be like, what color was the car? You don't know the color of the car, and you don't know the color of the car because you're scared, you know? There's a logic that just goes into it that there's no justice is going to get done behind it. So he says the robbery happened just as he was arriving home one night. He said he didn't even have time to get out of the car when a gunman came up, pointed a gun in his face, and stole everything he had and ran away in a car. Got in a car and took off. A lot of people in this, too. It was reported when they interviewed a bunch of people, it was said that Kirkland went to the gun show, bought a gun, left the show, then returned again to try to buy a second gun.
Jesus.
That's what they're saying he did.
You got one. You got away with it. Stay home.
Kirkland says, no. He says, quote, that's nonsense. I love him using the word nonsense, by the way. That's nonsense. Excuse me, mister. That is nonsense, sir. No, that's just silly Billy talk there. He said, the reason I went back was because a lot of people were telling me, hey, no, you're a felon. I said, I know, but the dude did a background check on me and he said I was good. So my whole mind frame was to go back in there and say, I want to go back to the dude and make sure and ask him, did you run my name and I was good? No, that's not what happened at all. So he went back in the gun show.
He was going to get another. He's like, I got away with it, y'all. I'm going to go get another.
Cool. Yeah, he says his plan was to tell the guy that he bought the .40 caliber Glock from, the guy that he bought it from, that he'd gone to someone else to purchase a gun also, and they denied him due to a pending domestic violence case, which wasn't actually true, but he was just testing him to see how that would fly. Right? He's just lying all over the place, and he's lying about the lie. Kirkland. The guy who said basically instead of the man, saying, yeah, no, I didn't do your background check or whatever, the whole thing went badly. He said, so I went back there and I told him, I got a case, the family violence case. I lied to the dude. I said I had a family violence case pending. And when I went to another person, tried to buy another firearm, they said, blah, 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 the thing I just said. I said when I went to another dude to try and buy a gun, the guy said, no, you got a family violence case pending. I said to the gun dealer, so did you really run my name in? I just really told him to see what he was going to say as far as running my name. He said, I wouldn't have sold you no gun if you were a felon. Okay. He said, that's exact quote.
Okay.
And so they went back and forth. And so he said, did you run my name? Blah, blah, blah. And then he said, quote, and he got all uppity about the situation. I said, look here now, nonsense.
He got uppity. It was nonsense.
He said, look here now, I do not want the gun. I will give the gun back to you. So the guy got a little uppity about it. And so I said, I'm going to let you calm down. Meanwhile, while you calm down, I'll come back and holler at you. And he was like, all right. But it wasn't all right because as soon as he left, that's when he got arrested. Undercover agents, ATF agents too. This isn't local police.
ATF,
alcohol, tobacco, firearms.
Boom.
So basically,
that's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal. So now he's trying to throw the gun dealer under the bus, saying he didn't run my name. Blah 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 blah. He says, quote, at the time there was already detectives that was undercover federal agents watching the whole gun show, and they happened to go over and asked about the whole situation. And then it was like the gun dealer saying, this dude's asking about buying a firearm. He bought one earlier today, but now he's telling me he has a felony or something. So the gun dealer told on him. Yeah. And so they, whatever. They looked through the records. They saw that he signed with his own ID. Yep. He said they didn't book him right away. They let him leave the gun show, and then they pulled him over, and he had it in his vehicle. And so they stopped him, and that's what they ended up.
That's possession.
That's possession by a felon. He says, like, he when they pulled him over, too, he's like, I just want to give the gun back. And they were like, no, you have a gun. Right. You can't just say, I want to give it back, and then it's okay now. He said, when I see a bunch of agents follow me, I didn't know they were undercover, but they just seemed suspicious and shaky. So I was like, I just need to go. So then he took off, and then they followed him and fucking pulled him over and arrested him. And then he says, too, they tried to say that he tried to bring the gun back into the show. Because he said he did that to give it back. And he said, I never brought the gun to the show. It was inside the vehicle the entire time. So that's when I was like, well, you don't want the gun. I don't want the gun. I'll just give it back to you. Well, where? From the vehicle? Fucking idiot. So anyway, that's what happens. That's his side of the story, which sounds like a
messy lie.
Sounds like he wanted a gun, and then he tried to make up some shit to get out of it. Now, April 24th, 2009, his lawyers are asking for a furlough. This is a bail hearing. They're asking for a furlough so that he can get to Nevada to cut 8 pounds and make weigh-in.
Okay.
Federal prosecutors are saying he's a flight risk.
Yeah.
So the judge says, quote, sometimes I have to make these kinds of decisions, and when I do, it's never fun. I know it's affecting a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the judge denies bail, and he is turned over to the feds.
Shit.
Instead of getting bail, he's turned over to the federal government.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And now he's still got 4 years left of his parole.
His probation,
and he's now got a weapon in his.
And now he's got that.
So he's going to have to. Okay, go on.
This is not great for him. Yeah. So everybody's in court. His trainers, his manager, his mother, his son, mother. Vanessa's there with the kids. Everybody's there. So Schaefer, who represents Golden Boy Boxing, and Kirkland's attorney and his co-manager is a guy named Michael Miller. They wanted to. They said that they would, to the court, they proposed, look, let him go to Vegas. We'll hire an off-duty police officer approved by the court, and he can escort Kirkland to Vegas and stay with him 24 hours a day. Our cost.
We'll pay for it. Yeah.
We'll pay for it. They said, quote, we were going to assume the responsibility and guarantee the judge that James would come to Las Vegas on Wednesday or Thursday, fight on Saturday, and return home on Sunday under the strict supervision of an off-duty police officer. The judge wouldn't allow it.
That's a nice way of trying to get it done.
Tried.
That's as hardcore as you can go.
His mother said he's just got to wake up, and then this is his wake up call right here. Schaefer said, who's a silver-haired middle-aged white man from Golden Boy, he said, quote, we support James and we want him to take care of his issues. We're not going to abandon him because he has a serious problem that he's facing. We are silver-haired middle-aged white men.
We are making a lot of money off of him.
We're going to make
him.
money off this guy. This was, I guess, the Austin police and the ATF worked together on this whole thing. Like I said, still on probation, whole deal.
And by the way, this is the prime of his career. He needs to be fighting at this point.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This is where he's going to make his money.
His biggest paydays are right now.
Yeah, in the late 20s, early 30s is when he's going to do it. So he's supposed to fight, if you remember, on the Hatton Pacquiao card, and that is he's scratched from that because he can't go. So that's a bunch of money down the drain. Schaefer, his silver-haired middle-aged white man, said, quote, we did what we could. We even submitted a letter to the court suggesting we'd assign an off-duty police officer to stay with James at all times. We even had selected an officer. The court just wasn't moved, though. They won't let him travel.
Jesus.
The fact is he got caught buying a gun with his own ID. He didn't use it. He didn't even threaten anybody. He didn't shoot anybody, but he bought a gun. He shouldn't have done that, and that was a really bad decision on his part. We'll see what happens. Hopefully he'll get through this. We'll definitely have him move out of Austin.
Yeah.
They're saying,
no doubt.
Stop home.
Get
we always
out.
say, don't move back home. Yeah. He never left, this fucking guy.
Get the fuck out now.
Yeah, July 2009, he pleads guilty to gun possession by a convicted felon.
Yeah.
Faces 6 years in jail for that. Maximum 10 years. It's like 6 to 10 is the normal range.
Holy shit.
Sentencing is on September 29th, 2009. The federal guidelines call for 47 to 57 months.
Wow.
However, there's an outpouring of support for him from the community, including Oscar De La Hoya comes to court and testifies for him on his behalf in the sentencing, the whole deal. Everybody's there supporting him, and the judge says, quote, I have taken a chance with regard to reduction of the sentence in your case, Mr. Kirkland. I am impressed by what you have done and what you can do with regard to young people who have had problems and difficulties growing up as you had. What you do with your life, to a large extent, has an effect on what I do in the future with regard to other people. So if you foul up out there, you're going to hurt someone else who comes before me and gives me the same story. Do you understand? Yeah, he's like, don't fuck this up for other people here. He's sentenced to 2 years in federal prison.
That's nice.
Which is amazing
That's
compared
very
to 10.
lenient,
Yeah.
I was guessing he was going to get the rest of his probation in prison plus some.
Absolutely. That's it. I mean,
I was guessing this story was over and that's where he is now.
Yeah. No, De La Hoya's in there and he's saying, look, man, we need role models and he could be a role model. These kids, I want him under my wing. De La Hoya tells the judge, you let him out and I'll take him under my wing. Right. I'm the golden boy.
And here's the other part too. Nobody got hurt in this situation,
no,
Judge.
That helps.
Like, there's no victim here. The only victim is that the criminal justice system is the victim in that he bought a gun when he shouldn't have. That's the victim.
He's going to get credit for approximately 6 months time served.
All right.
In addition, he earns good credit for behavior, and he can serve the final 6 months of his sentence in a halfway house, as we know from Texas law in the past. Oscar said, quote, Oscar De La Hoya, quote, with time served, good behavior, and a halfway house, we can fight him within the year. Mm-hmm. He's only 25. He did the crime. He's going to do the time. It's up to him after that. So he's only 25.
That's great.
He says on going to jail and going to prison on the conviction, James says, in their own words, quote, basically your dreams are all shattered. You're hurting physically, you're hurting mentally, spiritually. Everything is just like a sore thumb. Everything about you is just gone. You lose not just access to the boxing, you lose access to your family, your loved ones, the people that really care about you, people that have been backing you up for many, many years. So, yeah.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. He's just disappointed he's going away from his career, I think.
But here's the thing. He's still with a robbery, a fucking armed robbery, and now buying a weapon as a felon. Yeah. He still hasn't gotten a punishment that's harsh enough to correct him.
No, he's
that's a problem.
ahead of the curve.
He's gotten 2 years on either case, and that's not enough.
Yeah. He's not allowed to throw any punches in jail.
No.
He's not allowed to shadow box.
I would hope not.
He's not allowed to just shadow box in a cell by himself.
That's ridiculous.
So any punches, he goes in the hole. That's the rule ridiculous. They told him. Yeah, it's ridiculous. He's not allowed to do it because he doesn't want anybody. They said don't show anyone else how to punch. Don't punch. They just don't want anybody. They don't want any punching.
Right. We don't want any encouragement of throwing fists.
All he can do is run, basically. That's the thing. He's about 172, 173 pounds in prison, which is fine. That's not bad, actually. That's less than 20 pounds off his fighting weight.
154.
That's, I mean, guys who weigh in at 154 walk around at 163 anyway. Okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
They cut the weight for
So he can cut 10 pounds pretty easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, he hasn't been able to train. So once he gets
training,
sparring, he's going to be able to do
training,
it. Yeah, that's the thing. Prison food too.
Yeah.
September 2010, he's released. He's vowed to remove the negative influences from his life. He says he's communicated with Bernard Hopkins, who's a boxing champion who was in prison for many years and got out and totally turned his life around.
Yep.
He moved away from Austin. He moves to Vegas, where he's training.
That's not a good place to live, though.
No, well, for a boxer, for training. Problem is, too, he also parts ways with Ann Wolfe at this point, which is stupid. Parts ways with her, says that she's just part of the whole thing. She doesn't know why. She said it was his decision, not mine. I don't know. She would never talk any shit about him.
That's
though.
nice.
Not one word of shit. And he didn't really talk shit about her either.
Really?
He would be like, just looking for something different. That sort of thing. Just looking for something different. He finds Kenny Adams, who's an old military-style trainer, but he doesn't push him as hard as Ann Wolfe does.
See, and that's what it is. That right there is what it is. She's the only one in his life that has punished him in any way.
He's just trying to teach him how to have better fundamentals and form. And Adams says, quote, "You can't take an abundance of shots and continue on in the boxing world. If I can teach him defense and to have patience, I feel like I've really done something to help him have a longer career."
No.
When a guy takes a lot of shots like that, their careers are somewhat shot. That's true, but that takes away his style.
Right.
That's like taking the claws off a tiger and saying that, well, now he'll be able to fight easier.
He'll be able to claw the shit out of him with his back feet. That doesn't matter. I mean, her point and his point are now just completely opposite. Like the way she trained him was he doesn't need defense if he knocks the fuck out of them.
Aggression, and that's his whole.
And
that's everything.
This guy's telling him back up.
Yeah, he wins half his fights before they start because of the aggression. We have an in their own words on this and his release and his happiness. In their own words, quote, "I don't have one negative person around me. I'm not going to let nothing take away from my dream. Every single day, man, I've got to have a positive mind frame, even though it feels like, wow, man, why me? But every day I drive to make this be a positive thing as far as being a world champion. I'm going to be dedicated to that. I know it's going to happen. I fell off by doing something stupid, and now this is a positive thing because I'm glad I went through the situation and got to see everybody for who they are and who they were to me."
He's his own fluff piece.
He's his own fluff piece. He will. He is.
This is amazing.
Fighting again March 5th, 2011 at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California.
That sounds nice.
Nice. He fights.
I've seen that place. It's
nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's really nice. I've seen it too. It's where the hockey plays.
Yeah. It's right by the fucking. It's right by Disney.
When you leave, you see it. He fights Ashanti Gibbs, non-linker, career 10-5 fighter. He knocks him out in 34 seconds in the first round. He's just caged heat coming out of there, man. Fights again 2 weeks later, March 18th, at the Orange County Fair in Costa Mesa, California.
Okay.
Fights John Berrio, non-linker, 15-4 guy. 1 minute, 2 seconds, round 2 is a knockout.
Jesus.
He's 27-0 at this point.
That's what I was just about to say. He hasn't lost a fucking fight yet.
No, he's doing amazing.
The only fights he's lost is with the law.
That's right. In their own words here, quote, "I give all honors and glory to God right now for giving me this opportunity, being able to talk to y'all and get not a second chance, but more like a third chance as far as my criminal background. No longer is that ever going to be a problem again because I'm not going to let it take any further action. in my life anymore.
I'm good now.
I am good now. I was headed there.
He should have ended it with that.
Yeah.
He should have.
I'm good now.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
From a fucking mountaintop.
He's on top of the world. April 9, 2011, he fights at the MGM Grand Nobuhiro Ashida, a Japanese fella who was 27-11-2, not known as a powerful puncher, only has 7 knockouts in those 27. And this is supposed to be a cakewalk.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a cakewalk for James. He's supposed to go in, knock this Japanese guy out, beat the rice out of him, and fucking go somewhere else. Instead, James is... Was that? I'm sorry. James
Chinese. He played joke.
Sorry, I wasn't even intentional.
Knock the rice out of him. You caught me by surprise. That was like a nice little right hook.
It's like
I'm sitting here
Kirkland.
listening to you, and then all of a sudden that shit.
Knock the rice out of this poor guy. This Ashida
that was awesome.
Knocks James down 3 times.
What?
And the fight ends in a TKO.
What?
1 minute, 52 seconds into round 1 with James losing.
Whoa.
They call the fucking fight. He
what
loses
the
to,
fuck?
Not happy he is right now. 27-1. After the loss,
Yoshido peed in his coat.
He
Holy
peed right
shit.
in his. He played joke. Yeah. He definitely did. After the loss, he immediately fires Kenny Adams, his trainer, and reunites with Ann Wolfe.
Yeah, he tucked tail and ran back. I like this.
His next fight, June 24th, 2011, Dr. Pepper Arena in Texas, obviously. He fights Dennis Sharp. It's Texas, Dr. Pepper. Fights Dennis Sharp, 17-24-4. Not exactly burning it up there.
Nope.
Beats him in 2-18 in round 1 with a knockout, 28-1. He fights non-linkers again for the next couple. At Mandalay Bay is a second-round knockout. Now he has his aggression back, though. Yeah. He's getting up. He
wants to fight some Chinamen.
He wants to fight anybody. He's got that wolf aggression in him now.
Yeah.
He fights in Cancun on November 5th, 2011 against Alfredo Angulo, 24-6 fighter. Yeah. This is for the WBC Continental Americas light middleweight title.
That's a title.
Jesus. Yeah, it's not much of a title, but it's a long one. He wins a TKO in round 6, goes to 30-1. Fights in March 24th, 2012. He beats Carlos Molina in a controversial fight. This fight goes 10 rounds.
Molina's a good fighter.
He's a 27-6-2. Yeah. It's James wins by disqualification.
Whoa.
When Molina's corner entered the ring too soon in the 10th round. A lot of people thought Kirkland lost the fight. And they disqualify Molina. So that was always thought of as shady, and a lot of people are pissed off at that. Now, in this fight, he injures his shoulder. Also, he undergoes surgery a week later for the injured shoulder, and now he starts to get wacky. Okay?
The drugs.
Now, he starts talking shit.
Goddamn medical system.
Starts talking shit about the Golden Boy Promotions, which he shouldn't because they've been helping him.
Yep.
He says, quote, in their own words, quote, when I fought Molina, I was offered 2 black pills before the fight. I take them thinking my team had my best interests at heart. As soon as I took those pills, I felt like I was high as a kite. My timing was off. My equilibrium was off. Then I messed up my arm.
Did he take black tar heroin pills?
He just said his team drugged him
to
lose a fight.
That's not good.
Which doesn't seem right, and it's also, a little crazy. He starts doing all sorts of things to fire his entire team, including Wolf again now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
He agrees to a fight with Canelo Alvarez at this point for under $1 million.
Whoa.
$1 million for this guy.
That's a big deal.
Then he says he's not going to do it. He changes his mind, has his friend Curtis Meeks, who's a half-assed 9-2 career boxer, whose career ended because he went to jail for manslaughter. Perfect.
Yeah.
He had him send an email to his management team saying that Kirkland wouldn't fight for anything less than $2.5 million.
That's not an email you send.
Well,
you just fight for what you get.
He's just trying to get them to drop him at this point.
So
he said $1 million wasn't enough, so he's trying to be difficult.
I'm on board.
He then sends a letter to Wolf, to Duncan, to Miller, and to Pops Billingsley even, saying that he's severing ties with all of them.
Pops has had strokes and shit.
Pops took him out of a homeless shelter when he was 6.
Pops should be your hero forever.
6. Unbelievable. Miller files a suit asking a judge to validate their contract, saying you can't break it. That ends up, the judge does agree with that, and he has to keep Miller. Kirkland also files a federal lawsuit in Los Angeles against Golden Boy Promotions, seeking to get out of that contract.
Holy shit.
Unbelievable. So a lot of shit is swirling around. His head isn't right. And on June 15th, 2013, in Austin, Texas, there's an incident between him and his girlfriend of 2 years, Frances Campbell. They were hanging out with friends and drinking at a club.
Yeah.
Campbell became angry with James because he was checking out another woman who happened to be the mother of his child. Vanessa was in there, checking her out at the nightclub. Campbell felt disrespected, took Kirkland outside, and the two of them argued. You know, the typical...
You still want to fuck her?
Yeah.
Shut up. I did several times. We have children to prove it.
They exchanged words. They left in a car to leave. During the car ride, they argued again, and Campbell tells police at this point that Kirkland grabbed her by the throat. She was driving, so you're choking a driver, which is not smart.
That's scary.
She pulled over into a parking lot of a CVS pharmacy, and then the physical thing continued. She said Kirkland grabbed her by the throat again. Campbell says she apologized to try to get him to calm down. Once the argument finished, they went home. Campbell says she ran upstairs, fearing further violence. She called the police. Police came in. They were told by Campbell that Kirkland caused her injuries, didn't strangle her hard enough to cut off the path of air, but grabbed her by the throat. They found a 5 to 6 inch scratch on the front of her neck and fingernail prints on the back, left and right, like he got it wrapped around her. He's arrested on 2 counts of assault, causing bodily injury, and family violence, and he's held on $5,000 bail.
Shit.
Yeah. So at this point, he's ruined it all. He's fucking shit on Pops.
Yep.
He's embarrassed at De La Hoya.
Yeah.
He's robbed a poor dollar store owner. He's got 3 kids who aren't seeing him very much.
He's firing Ann Wolf.
He's firing Ann Wolf, who had lived under a goddamn boat. I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. I feel bad for all these people, but not nearly as bad as I feel for James Kirkland, University of Illinois football recruiting analyst.
Oh, shit.
He also worked for the Titans and Browns. James Kirkland, production engineer for Panasonic at Tesla Gigafactory 1 in Reno, Nevada. James Kirkland, pastor of discipleship and outreach in Lansing, Michigan at the First Baptist Church.
We feel bad for a Baptist preacher?
Well, he's not this guy. And finally, senior regional director of sales and marketing at Peachtree Hotel Group in Austin, Texas, because he's in Austin, so that's the worst.
And there's peaches everywhere down there, as we have found out. Everything's fucking peach.
Everything is. So anyway, he breaks his contract with Golden Boy. And so he breaks all that. He still has the managerial agreement with Miller. And who decides to sign him to promote him?
Who?
50 Cent.
Oh, Jesus.
Curtis
Get out
Jackson
of here.
decides he wants to get into boxing. So 50 Cent signs him. So now he's really doing
that's
well.
been to prison.
We need someone who's been to prison more than me to promote me. If I can do that. He fights Glenn Tapia in December of 2013 in Atlantic City. And Glenn Tapia was an up-and-comer. He hadn't lost at this point. He's 23-4 active. 23-4 career. He's still active. He lost his last 3 fights. So, not great. James knocks him out in the 6th round.
Wow.
He goes to 32-1. 50 Cent is thrilled.
Yeah.
He's thinking things are great.
He's talking through that mumble mouth of his.
Oh, absolutely.
Shit's coming off.
Miller has fights set up for him that were already set up.
Yeah.
And he's backing out of them. And he's burning bridges is what Miller says.
This is paydays. Just fucking run with them.
Miller says, quote, he's unpredictable. It's frustrating because he's burning bridges. As much as I like him and as much as I want the best for him, there are entities that are going to stop giving him these great opportunities if he continues to slam the door in their faces. That's the truth.
He's not
and it's
wrong.
true. If you're being a jerk off, stop. You know what I mean? May 9th, 2015, he fights Canelo Alvarez. This is the big boy here. This is the big fight at Minute Maid Park in Houston. Alvarez is 49-1-1. And his only loss is to Floyd Mayweather.
Holy shit.
And his draw was in his 5th fight in a 4-round fight. So, he wasn't even barely, he's barely a boxer.
It's barely a boxing match of 4 rounds.
He has only lost to Mayweather, who's got the best hands in the world. So
who's
going to
crush Conor McGregor, by the way.
It's going to be my UFC and
Connor's
boxing analogies
Connor's a fucking
here.
dead man.
So James is KO'd in the 3rd round here.
Of course,
This fight is a war.
Really?
He's not afraid of him at all.
For 3 rounds?
Kirkland is not afraid of it. It's 20 rounds of punches in 3 rounds. It's so many punches. KO'd in the 3rd round. Fights valiantly. 32-2, and they also see this is some shit. People want to watch him fight people. Again, it's good for that anyway. Alvarez, though, he was just too good of a fighter.
He's a great fighter.
And he's strong and everything else. Alvarez said, quote, "I'm happy about the win. It was the result I expected. James is a strong fighter, but he did surprise me with his aggressiveness in the first and second rounds. But once I dropped him the first time, I knew I had him." So he's like, it's all good. You know what I mean? So now he lost, and 50 Cent said, "I'm very proud of him. He fought like a true warrior, but I'm sending him back to Ann Wolfe."
Is that right?
I want Ann Wolfe to train him.
He said that?
Yeah.
I'm sending him back to Ann Wolfe.
I'm sending him back to Ann Wolfe. He needs that killer instinct.
Yeah.
James made $1.3 million for that fight.
My God.
So he's got some cash in his pocket.
He doesn't have to do shit anymore.
No, he's got cash. His career record's 32-2 with 28 knockouts.
Yeah.
$1.3 million in his pocket.
You don't have to rob people anymore.
No. And on August 8th, 2016, he's arrested for non-payment of fucking child support. You stupid asshole.
What
for the first fucking time you have money in your entire fucking life, and now you choose not to pay for your fucking kids.
Jesus Christ.
Dickhead. Jesus Christ. He bails himself out of jail.
He's got bail money.
$15,160.25 worth of bail money.
And how much was back child support? Couldn't be that much.
I don't know, but fucking ridiculous, man. What a complete idiot. I mean, he was sitting in jail. How dumb must he have felt? Sitting in fucking jail with $1 million in the bank.
Looking at himself in the mirror going, over child support, really?
And there's a fucking knock at the door, and he's like, "Who is this?" And he opens the door, and it's the Mexican pimp. And he's there with the guns blazing. And he says, "How is it you've come to arrive here? Why are you here? Why do you come? Why? You have $1 million in your pocket. Do you know how many pesos $1 million is? It is so many pesos.
It is 10 trillion
you
pesos.
Can pay for many children. You cannot even pay for one. Why? Why are you so stupid? Why? Do you need gun? I understand. I have two. I carry. I understand. But you are not smart. You use ID. Too many punches to the head. And poof. In a cloud of smoke, he's gone. He's out of there.
Oh, Jesus.
He's very confused, and he bails himself out. Now, he also is going to hook up with Ann Wolfe to fight again. He has a fight scheduled February 25th, 2017 to face Miguel Cotto.
Really?
Yes, he's going to fight that. February was scheduled this year, February 25th of this year. And he hooks back up with Ann Wolfe.
Yeah.
Who Ann Wolfe, he had to wait a little bit for her because you know what she was doing for 5 months?
Was she in prison?
Fuck no.
What was she doing?
She was off filming Wonder Woman because she plays Artemis in the new Wonder Woman movie.
That's amazing.
Fuck yeah, Ann Wolfe.
That's amazing.
Right. Living under a boat to a fucking movie star, bitches. That's right. That's right, goddammit. I love Ann Wolfe.
That's an empowerment of women movie. That's incredible.
Yeah, man.
I love
Good for
it.
you, Ann Wolfe.
She plays Artemis in that movie?
She plays Artemis in that.
He
wants to fight Cotto. Each of them, their last fight was a loss to Canelo Alvarez.
All right.
So they want to do that. Yeah. February 2nd, 2017. We're talking about the fights in 3 weeks, and they announced that the fight has been called off. Kirkland's team announced that he suffered an injury in sparring, which will force him to withdraw. It's a fractured nose. The entire pay-per-view show has been canceled.
Wow.
They returned all your money. If you purchase tickets through Ticketmaster, you can get your money back. Boom.
Wow.
Done. That is him. If you can't get enough of him,
holy shit,
you can go to champsuk.com or champsuck, as whatever, champsuk.com. There's a Devon Alexander Southpaw mitt. Well, you know,
the boxing mitts,
focus gloves.
Yeah. Focus gloves.
I'm like, what is the word I'm looking for? Signed by James Kirkland, and those are 85 pounds.
Well, however much
so
that is in
America.
Do that.
So about $100-something. I
was gonna say our shit's worth like less than theirs now.
Yeah, big
a lot
time.
Less.
That's James Kirkland in a fucked up, crazy ass story.
My God,
holy shit! What a goddamn mess.
What a turd he is.
Yeah, now he's an asshole.
He's so
That's what
stupid.
I mean. Yeah, for a while you root for him and you like him, and then you're like, you pay your fucking child support
Just
with $1 million.
Just pay for your kids, you idiot.
All right, we're running long, so if you like that, please get on iTunes, give us 5 stars. You can go on patreon.com/crimeandsports. Do that also, and give us a donation, or you can do PayPal, one-time thing, crimeandsports@gmail.com, truecrimecomedyteam.com. Get your pre-order T-shirts today.
There you go.
You can follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, @crimeandsports, Facebook.com/crimeandsports. Email is crimeandsports@gmail.com. Who are some fine ass people that did that this week, Jimmy?
Amazing people that donated this week are Kellen Englert, Kristen Kane, John Burford. Jesus, that's a tough last name, John.
That is tough.
Monica Robertson, Will Jacobs, Eric Penuel, Joshua Hoffman, Graham McColgan, Stina Gardner, Cammie Payne, Zach Gallagher, Lindsay McIntyre, Laura Murrer, and then Melissa Martin got her husband listening, and he listens to us while making her dinner while she emails us to tell us the whole story. So thank you all for donating. Thank you all for contributing. Thank you all for
like
participating.
She did it like a real Ann Wolf.
That's like a real fucking Ann Wolf. Damn
man.
right.
I use that as like a badass now. Man, that motherfucker's an Ann Wolf.
Yeah.
He's bad.
You can find me at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And I will be at the Tempe Improv June 23rd and 24th with Eliza Schlesinger and Hunter Hill. Come out and see us. Come hang out, have some fun. But more than that, thank you guys so much for your iTunes reviews, donations, listening, and contributing. But more everything, just spending your free time with us. Thank you guys. You guys are amazing.
I am at Jimmy P is Funny on all the requisite sites. You can copy and paste my name off the show description. Don't be a hero, guys. Don't do it.
There's no Purple Heart.
Let's do that, guys. But that's about that. Friend us. Say hello. Till next week, guys. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.